over to 24, 24 eastbound from 440, all that. You got a crash in Brentwood. It is 65 southbound past Concord Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
Well. Fancy meeting you here. Hello, kids. Welcome in. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another day and another week. Happy to have you with us this Monday afternoon, just past 3 o'clock. Hope everyone's doing well so far, avoiding a few of the raindrops that are in the forecast. Although, man, oh, man, do we need it. Obviously, we are well short of our normal average rainfall this time of year, and well on our way to drought-like conditions in Middle Tennessee. So we need the rain, but, some of you will get it, some of you will not, and maybe some rain a little bit later on this week. I think I heard that Thursday is a good chance for rain. But as it stands today, we've got lots to do this afternoon. Much appreciative of you being with us. Thank you so much for indulging me a couple of days off late last week. We'll talk about that for a moment and then get this show lumbering under our own weight. You can find us on a lot of different platforms. Obviously, we talk about them at the beginning of the show. We call it the Pleasantries, where you can find us on a variety of places. I mean, obviously, the FM dial is the best location for us. 99.7 FM from Alabama to Kentucky and all points in between. We're also on a variety of different apps. iHeart, Spotify, TuneIn, to name three of them, but there are many others, and we are everywhere. And if we're not on your favorite app of choice that downloads music or news or information, tell us about it, and we'll get there. We have our own SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. You can find us there as well. Go download our app and take us wherever you'd like to go on your smartphone technology. And then, of course, there's the Talk Television side of things, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. You can see how much sun I got over the weekend. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. And you can also see that the beard is growing in quite nicely, as Jackson has demanded. Speaking of Jackson, he's behind the glass. He makes sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Hey, Jay Willie, how are you?
Nice of you to show up.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you for allowing me to have a couple of days of rest and relaxation, a little springtime vacation.
You know, Brian taught me this really interesting thing.
What's that?
Ken Weaver can do these teases before the news that if you go on time, Ken gets to, tease what's coming up in the newscast.
By the way, thank you to Brian Wilson for spending a couple days with us. There's Ken Weaver. There's the laugh and the voice of Ken Weaver behind the glass in News Closet B. Generally speaking, keeping us up on what's going on in the headlines. What's up, Weaver?
How about you boys?
What's happening, brother?
Man, I'm just putting it all together.
Yeah, man, oh, man. I mean,
it's a Monday. It's a Monday, Brother Murphy, so everything that happened over the weekend is getting regurgitated.
You know what I need, Ken? After a couple of days off, I feel so out of sorts. I need Donald Trump to come in here and lay those healing hands on me. I need Trumpy Trump to come on in here to get us through these 4 hours.
I just want to be there sometime when he sees something, he says, "Oh yeah,
I've got it." Yeah, watch them; they're gonna freak out. So I've got a story. I think I've told this story before. I'm going to tell a story in a minute about Donald Trump and social media that should put a lot of this into context. I was telling Ken a little bit about this before the show. Well, listen, thank you. Before I get away from it, thank you to Brian Wilson.
Yes, sir.
We so appreciate him. He's such a pro, and I appreciate everything that he still brings to the radio station and his willingness. He's the busiest retired human being on planet Earth.
Yes, sir.
Is Brian Wilson over there in Watertown, and we so appreciate him spending some time with you guys Thursday and Friday, and I appreciate you allowing me a couple of days of R&R. Got a lot of honeydews done, Ken. A lot of honeydews.
I bet you did.
I knocked them out there, buddy. I knocked them out. I planted, I dug 18 holes.
Dang.
18 with my post hole diggers. my shoulder's a little feeling it.
Dang,
You know what I mean?
did some post hole digging, did you?
Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't. Wasn't for post. It was for flowers, but still, it's about a foot in there.
That's a workout, dude.
I tell you what.
Especially in these drought conditions.
In these drought-like conditions. Are we getting rain later in the week? I thought I saw Thursday.
Dude, I'm gonna have to check that.
Maybe. I don't know.
There is a slight chance on Thursday. Yes.
Okay, and then there's slight chances today, I guess.
Yeah.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss. Some of us are getting it right now. A lot of us aren't. Some of this that you see on the radar, it's not even hitting the ground.
Yeah.
It's drying up before it gets to the ground.
Yeah, because the atmosphere is just so dry right now. So, I don't know what to tell you. Unto each life some rain must fall. We'll get ours at some point. And at some point, much like farmers, we'll be begging for it to not rain.
Right.
At least we hope so. Well, I missed you fellas, and I missed the news cycle. I stayed away from it. I have to force myself to get away from it. And
yes,
so
sir.
I intentionally stayed away from it until yesterday afternoon when I was watching the Masters, the last of the Masters tournament. I said, man, it's time to catch back up a little bit. And then I saw the whole thing with Trump and the Pope. And everybody's I am not saying this to be rude. I'm not. And I appreciate people of different faiths, and I so appreciate these United States of America.
Yes, sir.
That we live in, that you are you are free to worship as you so choose, so long as you're not denying anybody else their rights or denying anyone life, liberty, and their own pursuit of happiness. You can worship, the flying spaghetti monster if you want to. No one is against you. But I don't care what the Pope says. I do not care. I mean, I just don't. I do not. And I'm not saying that to be inflammatory. I'm not saying that to be accusatory.
Right.
I do not care what the Pope thinks about anything. And if you're Catholic, you probably just perked up and looked at your radio or looked at your television, and you're like, what? And I'm sure you do because you're Catholic. And I'm sure that it very much matters to you what the Pope might think about geopolitical matters. It does not matter a bit to me. But it is, in my opinion, intellectually dishonest to say that Trump was picking a fight with the Pope. The Pope was picking a fight with Donald Trump and has been for months. The Pope chooses to talk about how there are no illegal immigrants. The Pope chooses to talk about how we need to allow people who got here illegally to stay here illegally. The Pope continues to talk about so the Pope has been picking at this for a while now. And if we know anything about our man is not afraid of a fight, and he's going to push back on it. And maybe that ruffles some Catholic feathers. Maybe Catholics recognize it for what it is. The Catholic Church does not have a very good record where they stand regarding war over the history of the church. And once again, I am out of it to the point that let me put it this way. I would be remiss if I had any sort of in-depth conversation about the position of the Catholic Church regarding world affairs because I don't pay attention to the position of the Catholic Church involving world affairs. The Catholic Church has never, in my opinion, owned up to the premise and the promise of their existence over the last 50 years regarding what they did to little boys and what they allowed to happen to little boys. And so whatever consideration I had for the church is kind of lost in as much as, and maybe they haven't, I've missed it. Once again, I am not in a position to judge, criticize, condemn, or praise the faith at all. I don't pay, once again, no disrespect, I don't pay any attention to what the Pope has to say because the Pope is not my faith leader. The Pope is the faith leader for the Catholics, and there are a lot of Catholics. And I understand that it matters to you. And God bless you, and God bless the Pope, and I hope everybody's healthy and happy and well. But when you involve yourself in the world of geopolitical affairs, would you not expect some sort of clapback? And frankly, I don't think that Trump said anything to the Pope that wasn't positionally correct. Meaning you might disagree with it as a point of policy. You might disagree with it as a matter of, well, you shouldn't talk to the Pope this way or whatever it might be. But Donald Trump's not Catholic either. So that, whatever. As far as the other thing goes about the about the meme. So, I mean, if you've not seen the meme yet, I don't know where have you been. For those of you in Aniana that don't get the internet, let me describe it to you. So it's Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's in a white and red outfit, and you know it is reminiscent of depictions that you might have seen of Jesus Christ over the years. It looks to be in like a robe with a red sash or a red robe on top of it, and he is laying hands on an individual. Somebody told me this morning that it was supposed to represent Uncle Sam, and he's healing the United States of America. Whatever. There's several people. I mean, that's what I was told. Oh, that's Uncle Sam, and he's what is he, raising America from the dead? Is that what he's doing?
I thought Uncle Sam wore that big flag suit.
See, it would have been better if he had the hat on.
Well, yeah, you got to have a big old top hat on.
Right. You got with the stripies on it. So. And there's Donald, and then there's, you know, some sort of, it's obviously AI generated, and so they got a couple of things wrong. I think those are supposed to be angels above him, but one of them kind of looks like Beelzebub himself.
Yes, it does.
With the horns. It's just so stupid. And there are jets in the air, and there's a couple of eagles in the air. And I thought one of the guys depicted looked a little like Pete Hegseth. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but... And so there's several people, and one lady's praying, and then there's the guy, and he's laying the hands on. And so obviously this upset a lot of folks. It upset a lot of Christian people, and eventually Donald Trump's way of apologizing, by the way, was to pull it down. That's all you're going to get.
Yeah, you're not going to get I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if you're waiting on I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I mean... That's just not in his.
It's not in his DNA.
It's just not what he does. But you know, somebody said, "Well, this is going to do it." Well, how many times have we said that over the last 11 years? Oh, this is the one that's going to finally get him. This is the one that's going to finally get him. No, it's not. This will be a blip, and this will be over in a week and a half. Nobody will be talking about this in a week and a half. Now, it might upset some Christians. Enough to the point that Donald Trump's never going to be on a ballot again in his life. So it's not as if they can go and not vote for Donald Trump again. I would not expect that they are going to hold other Republicans responsible for something that Donald Trump did. Donald Trump, for his part, and I've got the clip here and I can play it in a moment, he admitted as much that he posted it himself. And that he thought of it as a well, I'll tell you what, you got me. Well, no, I haven't linked up yet. I'll link up in a second, and I'll play the clip right after the break where Donald Trump says that it was him as a doctor. Okay. Well, I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, is that not as close as we're going to get to Donald Trump going, it was a mistake, shouldn't have done it, my bad. Oh, no, I was a doctor.
That's all you're going to get.
And I was trying to heal the country. All right. I mean, you know, if you were a doctor and you were dressed like that, where were your leeches? Because that's what doctors did back in the day. They put leeches on people. I don't know. But once again, is it just I don't care about this either. I mean, I understand that it might upset people. Here's what I would say. So here's what I would say to this, and this goes to the heart of it. And if we are thinking about this in a faith-based way, I think that most people of Christian faith agree with me and avoid this conversation simultaneously. Y'all ready? Donald Trump is the vessel, and he is not particularly faithful. But that doesn't matter. That's what I have to say about that. Donald Trump is the vessel, and I don't believe that Donald Trump is particularly faithful, but that's just my opinion on it. I have no way of knowing that one way or the other. Maybe there are some that believe he is, but God uses plenty of failed and faulty vessels for his own purposes, and it is not ours to necessarily understand that. But I do believe that the policies and everything surrounding the Trump administration is bringing us back to a better place geopolitically, and even a better place, certainly a better place in terms of American sovereignty, and even a better place in terms of American spirituality. But yeah, I mean, it's not his best moment, but is this giving me, I'm just not getting the heartburn that some, and maybe that's a reflection on the quality of my faith. I don't know. But I just am not getting the heartburn that many people are getting over this meme. I'm glad that he took it down. I'm glad that he took ownership of it for what it's worth, saying that he did it. And I think Donald Trump is honest as the day is long when it comes to those sorts of things. But I've never believed that Donald Trump was a faith leader. He is a political leader. And he's done a pretty good job at that. If you have any thoughts on any of this, 615-737-9986. My favorite part of this radio show is the idea that we have an opportunity to exchange ideas in conversation form. 615-737-9986. You can hit us up on the super text line. You can also hit us up on the phone lines. I am desperately trying to go to break on time so Jackson doesn't go into the DTs for Brian Wilson, who does go to break on time. I don't go to break on time. My bad. It's a failure coming to this model. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance. Your home and your automobile are two of your biggest investments, and at King & Associates Insurance, they protect both with coverage that fits your life and fits your budget. Whether you're a first-time homeowner, a growing family, or simply shopping for better auto rates, they make it simple. No pushy salespeople, just honest advice, personalized service, and policies that make sense. You've heard my story. I went to King & Associates Insurance when I knew I needed homeowners insurance, and they worked they worked the phones, and they worked all of the plans available to them, and they found us better automobile rates as well. So we're saving hundreds and hundreds of dollars on an annual basis thanks to T. King Associates, and I so appreciate everything that Emery and his team did for me. Go to tkinginsurance.com, tkinginsurance.com, or call 329-8121. 329-8121 today for a free quote on home and auto insurance. 329-8121 or tkinginsurance.com. How do you protect your important valuables from theft or fire? Do you hide them in a box underneath your bed? You're doing it wrong if you're doing it that way. Friends, there's no better way to secure your valuables than to get to Nashville Safe House and to purchase a quality safe. They have almost 200 safes on the display floor, and that is more than most have in stock at all, and it's not even close. And friends, that's just scratching the surface. They have almost 600 safes available for you and your family in the Nashville area, in Middle Tennessee, right there on 4th Avenue South. They've got every brand that you can imagine, from Fort Knox to Champion to Superior, and, of course, Browning. They're the largest Browning dealer in the United States of America, and they have the right safe for you. Remember, gun safes are always sales tax free at Nashville Safe House. They have the largest selection, the best rebates around. You'll find the right safe for you. Do not settle. Do not compromise. Get to Nashville Safe House. They are simply the best. NashvilleSafeHouse.com, NashvilleSafeHouse.com, or stop by 4th Avenue South across from City Cemetery. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Nashville Safe House.
What President Trump told reporters at the White House today about the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's a fine sounding tease there, Ken Weaver. I can't wait to hear that. Can't wait to hear that news coming up in just moments. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, Jay Willie didn't have anything to say about that, does he?
What'd you say?
I said that was a fine sounding tease from Ken Weaver.
Oh, yeah, Ken, you got one in today. You might get one in tomorrow.
If y'all have not gone online to see Jackson and his the wallet situation, as we called it, I don't know if y'all have seen the first edition of something that we're going to start doing called the Murphy Mess Around.
All right.
Where we get out of the studio, we get out of the news closet. Ken, you're going to be involved at some point, whether you like it or not.
I can't wait.
But we're going to have some fun with this thing. And episode number 1 was an intervention that we had to have with Jackson Williams, Ken.
Oh, yeah? What's Brother Jackson doing?
It was over his wallet.
Oh.
I'm worried about his back health.
Matt is a big government conservative who thinks people should be policed on what's in their wallet.
Did he have the George Costanza wallet going on?
He most certainly did, Ken. Most certainly did. He had this is funny to me. He pulled out a AAA card that was from 2021. It expired in 2021. AAA card, right? And I'm like, Jackson, what do you need this for? Well, I guess I don't. And so as we're going through it, I just randomly, y'all watch the video and watch this. This happened, and it was real. I randomly said, yeah, but what about all this other stuff? And I picked another card at random out of his wallet, and it was another AAA card that had expired in like 2018.
2023.
He had 2 expired AAA cards in his wallet. Not to mention, he had 3 hotel room keys?
Yeah.
3 hotel room keys, Ken. I'm like, Jackson, why are you keeping the... Well, you know.
I never know if I need to go back.
But to his credit, Jackson, some folks clam up when you have interventions with them. You tell them...
they don't like it.
They don't like it. You tell them they're drinking too much, and they just want another bottle of hooch.
And then they want to hit you with the bottle.
Well, right. Well, Jack, to his credit, y'all can watch Murphy Mess Around, episode number 1 on the Super Talk Television YouTube channel.
Did he have any hard candy in it?
He did not have any hard candy. Not a lot of money either, which was odd. Well, no, wait. Not odd. Never mind. Strike that. Reverse it. Not odd. I know what he does for a living. But yeah, that's a lot of fun, and we've got another episode dropping later on this week that we're very excited about. So you'll listen up for that.
All right,
all right. I'm gonna get to MC in a moment to talk about the Catholic faith, and a lot of you are responding online. I believe Trump is faithful. He always gives thanks to our Lord Jesus Christ in his speeches. However, as president, he must make decisions that are in the best interest of our country. And unfortunately, that involves going to war. I understand that, which is kind of the difference between someone who is faith-based, who can speak in generalities. And that is largely, and once again, I am not the person, and I don't pretend to be the person that can get into a long-form theological discussion about the Catholic faith. But I do believe that it is quite easy behind the walls of Vatican City to talk about how we should all love one another when there is no fear of, Muslims cutting your head off. There's no fear of illegal aliens, destroying Vatican City because there's been just an absolute deluge of illegal alien activity from criminal elements from around the globe. I find it very, very easy to talk the way that the Pope seems to talk without having to deal with the realities of the real world. I mean, if you want to tell me that there should be no border walls, well, then open yours up. I mean, right? Open yours up. Tell me how that isn't intellectually consistent and consistent on a humanitarian basis, that you would open your walls of Vatican. Well, he can't do that for security reasons. Well, what about our security, buddy? It's 31 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Operation Epic Fury. President Trump telling reporters at the White House the U.S. wants guarantees from Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and relinquish its nuclear program as it has undergone its own blockade of the strait.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
Meanwhile, there is the fallout from Catholic and other religious communities after President Trump called the Pope soft on crime. And I don't want a Pope who criticizes the President of the United States.
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime.
Here in Nashville, driverless Waymo vehicles seen blocking traffic at multiple Nashville intersections just days after the company's public launch. Videos posted to social media show autonomous cars stopping in the roadway, holding up drivers downtown and in South Nashville. Waymo says the cars paused while navigating tight turns and nearby traffic, including a pedal tavern and a bus. The company says no riders were inside the vehicles and safety remains its top priority. And the head of the Texas Department of Agriculture has intensified his warnings to the state's beef producers there in the Lone Star State. ABC's Jim Ryan says a parasite deadly to cattle is approaching from the south.
Now less than 100 miles from the Texas border, the New World screwworm is closing in.
It's like something out of a horror movie,
says Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller.
It's a flesh-eating maggot. Couldn't get any worse than that.
A 1972 outbreak of New World screwworms killed 90,000 head of cattle in Texas. It was finally eradicated with the use of sterile flies of the type that produce the screwworm larvae. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got an injury crash now. Long Hollow Pike, just west of Upper Station Camp Creek Road. And then in Brentwood, a crash, 65 southbound past Concord Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
I knew when I moved into my new home that anytime that I had an HVAC issue that I would be calling my man, Jeff Eddy. I've been talking about Jeff for years now. He is the best in the business when it comes to personalized service and getting you up and running for the least amount of money possible. He understands you're a baller on a budget, right? He understands that the last thing you want to do with your money this spring or summer is put it into a new heating and air conditioning system. Sometimes you have to, and I'll get to that in a moment. But he's going to try to fix what ails your system. That's why he focuses on maintenance so much. That's why we talk about the maintenance guarantee and the $125 cap on maintenance calls with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. No matter how many units you have, that's the maximum you will pay. Oftentimes, it's much less than that in the service area. The bottom line is this. He wants to try to protect that investment. Now, there is a life cycle. I experienced that moving into my home where I had my 5-ton went out about a month after I moved in, but I knew who to call. He gets it to me quickly. He gets it installed quickly. He gets me back up and running, and he does it for the least amount possible. Plus, they're an Elite Pro partner with Ream, so they can help you find the right unit for you. It's Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or online at efficienthvac.net. You know, back in my college days, screwworm was something very different, but Ken Weaver was telling us about this screwworm coming up, I guess, from Central America, from Mexico, and threatening, man, oh man, that sounds awful, a flesh-eating maggot. Ew. Yuck. Sounds horrible. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'd love to talk with you, 615-737-9986. I think I've got my my deal up and running, so I can show you what Trump had to say this morning about the meme that he posted over the weekend, which, once again, I don't have that much heartburn over it. I understand why some would. I get it. But this will be gone in a week and a half. I mean, it is not something that is going to linger, in my opinion. But, you know, I've been wrong from time to time. MC is next up on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, MC.
Hello, Mr. Murphy. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
Habe nam papam. I don't have a pope, and I think he needs to stick to praying for Biden and Pelosi, who are members of his flock, and maybe take on Daniel Ortega about removing Bibles and closing churches. and leave the Middle East to somebody that can handle it. And I respect my cat. I've been to St. Henry's, man. I grew up in that parish. I grew up around St. Anne's over in West Nashville. And they brought me into this world at the old St. Thomas Hospital. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm a nice guy. I've been to the theater. Theater. That's a Freudian slip. I've been to the Cathedral of the Incarnation also. But listen, John F. Kennedy, you heard of him? He said he wasn't going to listen to Pope John the 23rd, who was a lot better pope than Leo the IVX. He needs to pray for Notre Dame football and keep his nose out of geopolitics. Thank you for the platform.
Sure, MC. No problem at all. It is, I understand the idealistic concepts of peace on earth, goodwill toward man. But there are plenty of men that do not return that sentiment. And what do? Do you give them your neck only to have them cut off your head? Or do you defend yourself and your freedoms and your beliefs and your faith and engage? Donald Trump decided, and as we've been talking about for many, many weeks, I have a lot of concerns about what's going on in Iran right now. I have very plainly and openly said to you that I don't pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't pretend to be the smartest person when it comes to military preparedness or military engagement. But I have a certain level of experience regarding commenting on these things and observing these things. And, with a certain level of time comes a certain level of wisdom. And I do not see how this ends well. Now, Donald Trump did something over the weekend that I find very interesting. And it's one of those deals where, did we see this coming? I don't know that we saw a blockade coming, but we're going to get into that coming up in just a couple of minutes. All of that to say, Donald Trump recognizes or believes that the Iranian threat was great enough that he puts at great risk, and not just Christians, but Jews and other Muslims or people of no faith at all at risk in that part of the world and in other parts of the world, with the possibility of them getting a nuclear weapon, etc. And so he made the decision to engage offensively, and apparently that is what's causing so much grief. But let us not pretend, and many in the mainstream media are doing this, and many in our business and talk radio are doing, Donald Trump took shots at the Pope. Donald Trump responded to shots. So if the Pope is going to vaguely insinuate that Donald Trump is an evildoer and that God does not answer the prayers of evildoers or listen to the prayers, what did he say? God does not listen to the prayers of people that wage war? Well, if you can't understand that regardless of how it started, who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, then I have more broad questions about your ability for discernment at all. So for the Pope that's one thing. The meme is another thing. Brian is up next. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, brother, I hadn't talked to you in years since you got moved up in the organization, and now you're the grandfather of all.
I don't know about all that, bro. Thank you for calling, man.
Yeah. No, you really are, bro. You and Chris Hand, y'all just go down the same vein I do, I think, and I appreciate what y'all stand for and say. But having said that, I'm friends with Tommy Cunningham, so don't hold that against me. Just what you've been saying about the Pope is not. I mean, I don't know how the Bible explains all that, or if it even does. But the Pope's not in the Bible, and people can argue that back and forth if they want. But I'd like to see Scripture that backs it up. We have one advocate, Jesus Christ. It's not the Pope anymore. Not that it ever probably was. There were priests, though, back in the Old Testament. But also, talking about fighting and war, Tell me the guy that was, I think Jesus said, a man after my own heart was David, right? I don't know if you remember that story, but that's what it is. What did he do? He took a weapon and killed another man. He also killed another man so he could have his wife. And it was a man after God's own heart. Now, and he put him on the front lines in a war so that he would die so he could have Bathsheba. Those are just some of the I don't know what you call it. I guess supportive, to me, they're supportive of the Pope, against the Pope, saying all he says to criticize our president. I mean, you can take away everything you want to, and Donald Trump has done more and will do more and loves this country. I don't know his heart, but I see what I see. And the Bible also says you'll know them by their fruit. And I see the fruit. So thank you for standing up for him. I mean, I know you're not a disciple, neither am I. Chris doesn't want boots on the ground, Chris Hand, and I don't either. I've got, my dad was in World War II. My uncle served in combat. And I have a brother-in-law just recently passed away who was a hero in Vietnam. 3 Purple Hearts, the Bronze Star with the V device, which means valor. He tried to save 2 buddies. They didn't make it. He just recently died in a car accident, and I was very close to him. It killed me. He took over for my dad. But that he would be saying the same thing. We agreed. We were eye to eye on a lot of this stuff. He was a Christian. He said, I killed a lot of people in Vietnam, Brian, when I was a heathen. And I don't know that would have changed when he became a Christian because he still stood for the same values. But I just thought I'd call in and say that. I hadn't talked to you in a long time. I was just on the way home, and I heard what you were saying. I agree 100%. And I know you don't put those at the front of the line, but I appreciate you.
Well, Brian, I appreciate you. Thank you for the telephone call today. And yeah, it's well spoken, so much of what you said. The president is charged with a different duty than the Pope. And if this president has demonstrated anything, it's his authenticity when it comes to reacting to these types of things. And Donald Trump is not afraid to react. For those that missed it, I'll tell you what, I'll put it up. Yeah, share the screen there. I'll put it up on the screen while I read it. For those that are at home, it's Donald Trump's Truth Social post regarding Pope Leo. It says, Pope Leo's weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He talks about fear of the Trump administration and doesn't mention the fear that the Catholic Church and all other Christian organizations had during COVID when they were arresting priests, ministers, and everybody else for holding church services, even when going outside and being 10 and even 20 feet apart. I like his brother Louis much better than I like him because Louis is all MAGA. He gets it. Leo doesn't. I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want a pope who thinks it's terrible that America attacked Venezuela, a country that was sending massive amounts of drugs into the United States, and even worse, emptying their prisons, including murderers, drug dealers, and killers into our country. I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide to do, setting record low numbers on crime, creating the greatest stock market in history. Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He wasn't on any list to be pope. It was only put there by the church because he was an American, and they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo would not be in the Vatican. Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, does not sit well with me, nor does the fact that he meets with Obama sympathizers like David Axelrod, a loser from the left, who is one of those who wanted churchgoers and clerics to be arrested. Leo should get his act together as pope, use common sense, stop catering to a radical left, and focus on being a great pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very badly, and more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church, President Donald J. Trump. Now, that is Trump responding to what are obviously shots against the Trump administration regarding our immigration policies, regarding our policy of removing criminal illegal aliens from the United States of America and sending them back to their countries of origin, and, secondarily, our engagement with Iran. I wonder if Pope Leo would have had the same reaction had we decided to engage Russia in the aftermath of the Ukrainian conflict. I don't know. I don't think Donald Trump has done anything wrong, and frankly, I don't look to the Pope for political advice, and I don't expect any level of political acumen by the Pope. Once again, if you are the Pope, I expect that you will preach peace. If you are the Pope, I expect that you believe that, all human beings are God's children. And that's very, very easy to say when you don't have one of them in your home stealing your things. The Pope doesn't have to concern himself with that. And I find it fascinating that they get down to really this idea that America should open its doors to anyone and everyone that would want to come here, and they don't do the same in their own homes, in their own churches, or in their own city. It's just odd. I'm not even judging it. It's interesting that you would. I don't understand how you distinguish the two. I don't understand how you say, well, it's an acceptable risk that you have illegal criminal aliens in the United States of America because we love everybody and everyone's God's creatures, and we should, cherish those individuals around us regardless of where they came from, even if some of them want to do us harm, rape, burglarize, murder, yet you are not willing to take the same risk at Vatican City. Well, that's silly, Murphy, because those are what is it? I genuinely don't see the difference. And so if you're going to forcefully say one thing and do another thing, what does that make you? That makes you a hypocrite. 615-737-9986. What Donald Trump had to say about the meme coming up right after this on Super Talk. There comes a point where no matter how much you try, you get on the treadmill at the gym, you're doing walking at the park, maybe you're getting the cardio in and even doing some weights, and you just can't get the weight off. You can't get it off where you want to in those difficult places. That's where Contours comes in. Contours truly can help. Our friends at Contours LLC, I was spending some time with Keith yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we were talking about this very thing. That stubborn fat that's around your belly, around your midsection, it just gets harder and harder as you get a little bit older, get some gray in the whiskers, harder and harder to get rid of. And Contours LLC is like a boost of technology in that regard because their red light technology is the perfect solution to get rid of this, especially for those of you that have been trying to no avail. They are running a lot of specials going on at Contours right now, not the least of which is the Belly Buster package, $99. First treatment is $99. And if you don't lose over 2 inches around your midsection, your first treatment is absolutely free. Contours LLC is getting it done. It's safe, it's painless, it's effective, it's cost-effective, and most importantly, it works. I'm a testimony to that, and you can be too. Call Contours, 615-236-9960, 236-9960, or online at contoursllc.com, contoursllc.com. Call today. What do you have to lose but inches?
Utility bills in another Middle Tennessee community may be about to go up. I'll tell you about that and other top stories at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Someone says on the Super Text line, you can join us there, by the way. By the way, that's News Tease number 2, Jackson, if you're counting at home. I think we do 2 an hour.
Matt's been listening to Brian Wilson.
Obviously. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So 9868 writes in on the Super Text line, your discernment is somehow more discerning? It's all opinion, dingus. Called me dingus. I like that.
Oh, you got my text.
And I said, well, I have discerned, and my discernment is the most discerning. 9868 responds. Love it. Tough to throw around good and bad. Hard to tell these days. Yeah. I mean, I suppose everybody's got an opinion or two. They're like elbows or a-holes. You got one or two lying around. Speaking of a-holes, I'll be back for another 3 hours. Ken Weaver right now on the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Murfreesboro residents may soon pay more on their utility bills as the city plans major infrastructure upgrades. Fox 17 says city leaders are proposing increases to water and sewer rates in Murfreesboro to raise the average household bill about $3 a month. Starting next year, the money would help fund a $115 million wastewater treatment plant expansion needed to support growth, according to city leaders. No final decision has been made. Operation Epic Fury update.
President Trump says the U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz has begun, the military blocking ships attempting to enter or exit Iranian ports there. Asked what his end game is, to force Iran back to the negotiating table or reopen the strait to bring down gas prices, the president said it's both.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Meanwhile, Melissa Adon, traveling with the Pope, said the Pope responded to Trump's comments while on the papal plane, saying he's not afraid of the president.
There is now fallback from the president's comment, including conservative Bishop Barron calling for Trump to apologize, and the head of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops saying they are disheartened by the president's words. All of this as Pope Leo is now touring Algeria, visiting with diplomats, and also visiting a mosque and a Catholic church as he works to build bridges between Christians and Muslims.
And at the White House today, when asked by a reporter about the image the president posted of himself looking similar to Christ Jesus healing someone.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
He took it down after about 12 to 13 hours and the backlash. And he's dropped out of the running to be California's next governor. Now there are calls for Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell to leave the House of Representatives. Now a formal ethics committee probe is opening as ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports.
In a brief statement, the bipartisan leadership of the House Ethics Committee says the panel has begun an investigation into the California Democrat regarding allegations of sexual misconduct. One woman who once worked for Eric Swalwell told the San Francisco Chronicle he sexually assaulted her when she was too intoxicated to consent, once in 2019 and again in 2024. Swalwell has fiercely denied the claim. Other women have said Swalwell sent them inappropriate text messages and lewd photos.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we're getting some major brake tapping now. If you are eastbound 24 between the Eastern Split and the 440 interchange, and then that continues eastbound beyond the 440 interchange. Real slow going right now. Looks like east and westbound South Loop right there around the 65 interchange. Looks like we've got a crash reported Bell Road at Rice Road in Rural Hill. And now Brentwood may be about to clear this one up. 65 southbound past Concord Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, just getting warmed up. An hour went by like that on this Monday edition. We appreciate you being with us on this April 13. Thank you for being here. It is episode, I failed to mention it during the first hour, it's episode 1016. 1016 of these visits together at Supertalk 99.7 WTN. It's also day 449 of the Trump administration's second term. That's out of 1,460.5 days that he enjoys his second term in office. So we've still got over 1,000 days of this fun and frivolity left. Jackson, I don't know that you're being accused of something, but this is a very interesting comment that I've got on the super text line. I'm going to share it with you in just a moment. Jackson Williams behind the glass, he of the many nicknames. Ken Weaver, he's behind the glass in News Closet B, gathering headlines, delivering them twice an hour, and when it breaks. Now, Ken.
Yes, sir.
I was not here. And I was out of pocket. And so as much as I love Brian Wilson and love listening to him when he's on the radio station.
Yes, sir.
I did not catch a bit of Brian filling in for me on either Thursday or Friday. But from everything that I've heard, from everything that I've seen, it went famously, as you would expect it to go. I mean, Brian is a consummate professional and yada, yada, yada. So yes, I don't know what happened to precipitate this comment.
Okay.
We have this coming in from Anonymous Sheriff on the super text line.
Goodness, law enforcement.
Uh-huh. Matt, first of all, I think Jackson's great.
Yeah.
You know there's a...
Yeah, but
there's a
however...
But. There's a but coming. First of all, I think Jackson is great. But while Brian was there, Jackson did an impeccable Eddie Haskell performance toward Brian. Ken, is it fair to say, Jackson, we'll give you an opportunity to respond in mere seconds. Ken, is it fair to say that Jackson Williams was on his best behavior with Mr. Wilson in the house?
Brother Jackson was on his best behavior, yes, sir. And he was doing an outstanding job.
Jackson, is it fair of me to say that you might be a little afraid of Brian Wilson?
Who's Eddie Haskell? Before I answer any questions, I need to know who I'm being compared to. So who the hell is Eddie Haskell?
Take solace in the fact that you're gonna, live a nice long life. You're gonna
way beyond us.
Way beyond us. But we're only laughing because there's a little bit of a generation. So Jackson. This was even before Ken and I's time, really.
Does he have gravitas?
I don't know.
He didn't have
I don't think Eddie had any gravitas. Eddie Haskell was a character on the beloved television show from the 50s, Ken? I guess it was 50s.
It had to be 50s.
Yeah, the 1950s
so your 20s.
Television show, Leave It to Beaver. There was Beaver Cleaver.
Yes, sir.
And there was Wally, Beaver's older brother.
Yeah.
And Eddie Haskell was a buddy of Wally's. And Eddie Haskell was a schemer and a conniver. And,
Yes, sir.
Generally speaking, Ken, I think it's fair to say he was a ne'er-do-well.
He was a ne'er-do-well.
People would ask him, are you going to do well? Nair, he would say. Nair. But when he got around Mr. and Ms. Cleaver, he was, how would you describe him, Ken? A suck-up?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was like an altar boy.
Yeah, that's right. Why, yes, Mr. Cleaver. Of course, Mr. Cleaver. And then Mr. Cleaver leaves the room, and he's,
Scheming
with Wally.
Trying to get Wally to do stuff like go toilet paper homes.
All right, I have a official response.
Okay, very good.
That is 100% what happened. But you see, Brian Wilson is a respected newsman, much like our own Ken Weaver.
Uh-huh.
You,
Me?
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. By the way, completely accurate. Everything you're saying, completely accurate.
So fair. That's fair.
Yeah, completely fair. So, Sheriff, we're going to allow it. King Jackson says sustained, or whatever the hell. Whatever.
He's still been practicing.
You're in contempt. I'm in contempt. The law's in contempt.
By the way, Jackson claims that he watched his movie this weekend, Ken.
Oh, yeah?
We do that Matt Murphy movie Mayhem.
Yes, sir.
And my movie was Moneyball from 2011.
Yeah.
Had not seen it. Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, great film. Going over the Billy Bean sabermetrics era of the Oakland A's. Loved the film. We're going to do a full review in the 6 o'clock hour. And the way that Jackson responded when I asked him if he had watched his movie, which was My Cousin Vinny, leads me to believe that Jackson might be trying to lie to me that he didn't actually watch the movie.
He's pulling an Eddie Haskell.
I can pull up my Disney Plus watch history that I watched all 2 hours of that My Cousin Vinny movie, and I enjoyed it. But I will not stand in this court and be smudged. I did not work years for this gravitas.
Oh, be smudged. Well, I don't know who's doing am I doing the besmudging?
Yes.
Well, my apologies, sir. Far be it from me to besmudge you.
That's some serious allegations there, Brother Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
I hated that guy.
Golly,
His stutter just killed any. Sometimes the movie felt like it just wasn't going anywhere.
No, the scene where he does that and then he sits down and he goes, I get a little nervous. And then the kid looks at him, he goes, I'm getting better.
At some point,
I'm getting better.
At some point, I was like, "Oh, this is a dark comedy, and these young boys are going to fry."
Oh, it's great. That scene where the kid doesn't know who he is. We're gonna do this one way or the other. When he's in jail with him. Oh, anyway, we'll do more of that in the 6 o'clock hour. Okay, back to more serious matters.
Yes, sir.
So Donald Trump made this. Well, I guess this is kind of serious. I just want to get this at least. I promised I would do it. I want to get it out of the way here. So Donald Trump spoke to assembled media this morning. Got a sneeze.
Achoo!
Man, oh man, those dadgum allergies, they're getting on me.
Boy, they're getting bad.
Oh, yeah, they're out there. Here's what Donald Trump had to say this AM when asked about the now infamous meme that he has subsequently pulled off of his Truth Social post that seems to depict him as somewhat of a Jesus Christ-like figure with the healing hands and whatnot. This is what Donald Trump had to say.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
Okay, so that's the president saying that, well, it was him as a doctor. The story that I related to Ken Weaver a little earlier today And I think I've told this story before. This is absolute truth. So I have a good friend by the name of Cliff Sims. Cliff wrote a book about his experience in the first Trump administration, and I'm sure you can go read it. And Cliff started an organization called Yellowhammer News in Alabama, and he subsequently sold that organization. But he did a lot of social media engagement along those lines. And so when Trump won his first term as president of the United States, Cliff was tagged to be a part of the social media team in the White House. And good for him. And so while Cliff would not come on publicly with us, it was a really good resource privately to have behind the scenes to understand what was going on in the Trump administration. And things were a little bit, if y'all don't remember, things were a bit more chaotic back in the first Trump term, especially in the first couple of years. One, the Democrats were completely freaking out. I mean, they're freaking out now, but they're completely freaking out because they believe that Donald Trump never should have been president. They considered him an illegitimate president, despite the fact that he beat the brakes off Hillary Clinton. And they wanted to get him out of there by any means necessary, hence the impeachment opportunities and impeachments and the subsequent trials in the Senate. And obviously, they're going to try to do that again if they take over in the midterms. They will make his last 2 years as president of the United States a living hell, which is one of the reasons I'm a bit frustrated by the Iranian conflict, because I do believe it's taking our focus off so much of the good that we could be doing right now, and instead we're focusing on that, and I don't know that any good's going to come of it, or at least any long-term peace or stability in the Middle East is going to come of it, and that's just my own concern. I'll still have faith in the Trump administration with all that. But all that to say, so Cliff tells me this story. So Cliff is a part of a social media team. And do you remember that Donald Trump was on the X machine at the time? It was known as Twitter. And Truth Social did not exist. And Donald Trump would regularly tweet in the midst of the night or tweet early in the morning. And the social media team was always there to massage the message, to stay on message, and to manage the messaging in the aftermath of Donald Trump tweeting. And, you know, I suppose that previous presidents everything would be vetted, and, you know, they would send something to their guy, or somebody would pose something or compose something, and then you send it to someone else, and someone edits it, and then you send. Well, Donald Trump does not operate that way. His Twitter is his Twitter. And so I forget what it was about. I need to call Cliff and ask him. But he tells me the story. He said, we would get up early in the morning, and we would just rush to our phones to see what had happened overnight. Because he was like, it was always something. And then we needed to know what we had to clean up during the day, because there was something that was going to be. And he said, so we would get into the office like 6:30 in the morning. It was very early in the morning. So he said, I get up like 5:30. I look at my phone, and I immediately see this tweet. And Donald Trump's going off on somebody or something. And he's just going insane. And apparently it was a matter of, like, Donald Trump was completely contradicting an administration position that had happened like 48 hours before or something like that. And he's just going after somebody. He's just off the rails. I mean, something that we're more accustomed to now. And so they get into the office, and the social media office is right down from the Oval Office in the West Wing. And they're in, it's like, he said there's like 3 or 4 of us, and we're like, what the hell are we going to do? Oh my gosh. Have you seen the tweet? Oh no. And what's going to happen? Oh no. How are we going to clean this up? And he said, as they're lamenting and trying to figure out what they're going to do about all of this, the president of the United States of America, by extension, the president of the free world, he pops his head into their office, and he looks at all of them, and they're like, oh, what are we going to, and he looks at him and goes, did you see it? And they're looking at him like, yeah. You know, it's beautiful. Did you see it? He's like proud of himself. Oh. Donald Trump does not think like any other politician before him, and does not think like any other politician after him. He is a complete one-off. And so I don't believe Donald Trump fears any human being on planet Earth. I think he is incredibly comfortable and authentic in his own skin. And so as much of an apology as you're going to get happened today when Donald Trump said, yes, I posted it, and they decided to pull it down because they didn't want anybody confused what was happening there. And as you clearly heard the president of the United States say, he was a doctor, Ken. Now, I'm not entirely sure what those balls of light were all about, but, you know. And he's got the things over his head that, like, a couple of them looked like soldiers. One of them looked like a demon statue that I've seen in the past. You know, one of those satanic things. I don't know.
It looked more like an old Molly Hatchet album cover. It looked like a Molly Hatchet album cover.
That's very good. That's dead on. That's dead on. None of it means, it doesn't amount to anything, honestly.
He's just trolling, man.
It's fine. But, he upset a lot of people. Obviously, people take their faith very seriously. They should. And he upset some folks because they felt like he was putting himself in the place of Jesus Christ and, that he is no Savior. And obviously, we all know that. But at the end of the day, that piece will be forgotten long before some of the other activities that happened over the weekend, to include a decision to engage in what is being called a blockade. And that's what I want to talk about. So obviously the peace plan as it was laid out and the ceasefire as it was laid out did not work unless you believe that all of that was a part of getting to this, which is the United States Navy blockading Iranian ports because the peace talks collapsed over the weekend. Let's talk about that in a moment at 615-737-9986. I'd love to hear from you. And I have an individual that says that I am like a propagandist during the Third Reich. And I'll share some of that with you in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Let's talk for a moment about your health. Specifically, fellas, I want to talk to you about your health when it comes to your energy levels. Are you feeling low down? Are you feeling run down? Do you understand why? If that is the case, might I recommend the Tennessee Men's Clinic to you? Gentlemen, the Tennessee Men's Clinic works. The Tennessee Men's Clinic can help. Whether it's, going to the gym, working in the yard, doing things, honey-do lists or whatever, or perhaps it has manifested itself in the bedroom where you don't feel like you can anymore. Well, this is not 1976, man. It's 2026. And there are ways to solve the issue that you might find yourself in. All it takes is a start of the journey, and that start comes with a telephone call and a scheduled appointment to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And with that, they're going to go over you. The qualified urologist will sit down with you, talk with you about what you're feeling, how you're feeling. They'll get a little blood work. They'll check your testosterone levels, and oftentimes it's as easy as getting that right to get you feeling back right again. But if they need more aggressive style approach, they can do that as well. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is going to tailor a plan specifically to you. It is what do they do, and it's what they've done since they came to town in 2014. 4 separate offices to serve you in Middle Tennessee. Call today for the one closest to you, 615-208-9090. 208-9090 for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. It was once said, do all the good you can by all the means you can and all the ways you can and all the places you can and all the times you can to all the people you can for as long as you can. The first time I heard that was when I heard Aaron Stokes say that on this radio station, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Sadly, we have lost Aaron, but Eurofix continues to live by that philosophy. They repair European vehicles at below dealer pricing. What sets Eurofix apart isn't just price. It's a deep commitment to quality that keeps you off the tow truck. Eurofix has clean, welcoming shops where you can actually sit down, a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection to share what's going on at Eurofix. You get a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repair work performed with rental cars available at every appointment. With locations in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet, they are not too far away to serve you. Give them a call today at 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX or myEurofix.com. Once again, myEurofix.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you.
Utility bills about to go up for one town in Middle Tennessee. Well, maybe. I'll tell you about it coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hot dang, 3 for 3. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're on a roll, boys.
You're on a roll, Brother Murphy.
On a roll today. Oh, Jackson's not. Hey, look. Looks like Jackson's made more mistakes today than Murphy. Heal thyself, doctor.
Apparently, I can just let the president do it.
Lay his hands on that computer, on that OPEX system. See what we can do about that.
My finger slipped. I was trying to turn on my microphone and give you a snappy retort, and I hit the button to go to Ken.
I don't know why that's so funny.
What, snappy retort?
A snappy retort.
A retort.
Got to be careful with that one.
Yes, you do.
We did match the two, and they were identical. Identical. Sorry, I'm just going to be quoting my cousin Vinny all day today to see if Jackson recognizes any of them. 615-737-9986. I got this. I'll just share this with you before we go to news, and we'll get to Matt and Shelbyville coming up in a moment. Because I do want to tell you what the plan is today. A promising new stage, it is being called, in our 6-week Iranian excursion, as President Trump announced that we're now going to engage in a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, which initially we were going to get it opened back up again, but I guess that did not work, and some are suggesting this was the plan all along. I don't know that it was. I don't know that it wasn't. I don't know is the short answer. But I do know this, 2242 is having none of it. 2242 says Hitler didn't take any advice from religious leaders either. He did, in fact, have millions of totally blind and didn't have a problem with rounding up Jews for extermination, people on his side. I mean, I'm just reading this as it was written. Rounding up undocumented, we see what side you're on. God help you, just like the Nazis in Germany during the 30s through 1945. And I responded, I would love to talk with you. Call me. I'm very curious how we are exterminating anyone. And quick question, should there be rules for those who come into the United States? Basic rules. I received a response. There are 60 million Catholics in the United States. Do you think Hold on. He's writing back to me, so he's scrolling down. I can't read his message. There are 60 million Catholics in the United States. Do you think the fastest majority of them vote? Once again, I'm just reading it as it's written to me. And do you think they take a like to a piece of crap like Trump trashing the Pope, or do you honestly think none of your blow the smoke up the bleep answers either? You're 100% blind, and now he's in all caps. You're 100% blind faith in a fat piece of fat, disgusting, pathetic, pedophile, orange pile of crap is just amazing. Very similar to the Germans in the 1930s to 1945. I responded by saying, I don't have blind faith in anyone. I've disagreed with Trump many times, including in his Iranian engagement. You should listen a little more. Anyway, call me. I think we could have great dialogue. Screwing up in any capacity just to let him keep doing it, capitalize on it, lots of listening, never giving any information to opposition, ever keep them guessing. I said, what does this last message mean? I'm confused. Well, he has responded, and it's just as confusing as you might expect. I'll tell you what the response was in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Fox 17 says utility bills could soon rise for Murfreesboro residents as city officials look to fund major wastewater improvements. The proposed plan would increase water and sewer fees, costing the average home about $3 more per month. Officials say the money's needed for a $148 million investment, including a large plant expansion. City leaders still discussing the proposal. Operation Epic Fury. President Trump defending his position on the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz to reporters at the White House today.
What's going on? Right now, there's no fighting. Right now, we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily.
A House Ethics Committee investigation's being opened for California Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell. Swalwell has been accused of sexual misconduct by multiple women. Swalwell denies the allegations, but dropped out of the race to become California's next governor. We get more from ABC News political director Avery Harper.
We saw the campaign really unravel for Eric Swalwell over the weekend, with many of his staffers not only calling on him to drop out of the race, but also to resign from his post in Congress. We've seen Democrats in Congress say the same thing.
Newly launched Waymo self-driving cars are drawing attention in Nashville after multiple traffic backups were caught on camera. Drivers shared videos showing the vehicles stopped in intersections on Demumbrian and then 3rd Avenue South. Waymo says the cars paused briefly while trying to navigate tight spaces and surrounding traffic like pedal taverns. The company says it's reviewing the incidents as it continues to operate in the city. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Yeah, extreme brake tapping. I'm talking stop and go, northbound 65 up to the South Loop downtown. Still got a crash in Rural Hill. This is going to be Bell Road at Rice Road. Goodlettsville a wreck, Vietnam Veterans Boulevard westbound before Conference Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
Obviously, springtime being here, allergy season, I'm sneezing up a storm, but I've got Grace Point on my side, and I want them to be on your side as well because they can identify what your allergies truly are and how to get rid of them, or at least give you an opportunity for treatment so you can enjoy everything that the season has to offer. That's just one of the many reasons why you should get to Grace Point. They are a direct pay primary care physician's facility in Franklin, Tennessee. Worth the drive from anywhere within the sound of my voice because you don't get this level of treatment elsewhere. They don't believe in wait times. They don't believe in long lines. They don't believe in making you wait for days or weeks on end before you see the doctor, because obviously if you're sick today, you want to see the doctor today or certainly by tomorrow, and you get that at Grace Point Healthcare. As a direct pay practice, they utilize their Smart Care plan, which you can pay through your HSA. You pay monthly, $99 a month, and you have unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year. Basic labs and diagnostics taken care of as well. That's what it's all about. And for the youngsters, it's only $79 for the month. And once again, you pay that through your HSA. Whether it's Botox treatment, which they do them more affordable than most, whether it's hormone therapy, whether it's allergy relief, whatever you might be experiencing, they can help you at Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Give them a call at 599-6868. 599-6868. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Getting back to your telephone calls coming up in just a few moments, 39 minutes after the hour. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Happy to have you with us. Pleased you've decided to give us a few minutes of your time. I hope it's the full 4 hours. We're here until 7 o'clock tonight on a variety of platforms to include 99.7 on your FM dial. Obviously, a variety of apps. iHeart, Spotify, TuneIn, we have our own. And then there's Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Watch at your own peril, because I have the proverbial face made for radio. Although Jackson's very pleased that my hair's coming back in.
Yeah, you look normal.
My chin hair's coming back in. You like this better?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jackson. Appreciate that. back to
Ken agrees.
Ken, well, of course Ken. Have you seen him? Of course, Ken. Ken wants everybody to be a part of the Chin Whisker Brigade.
Well, Jackson needs to bring his back, too.
Where you at, Jackson?
Need to get some lamb chops.
Mm-hmm. Problem is, not everybody can grow that masterful goatee like Mr. Weaver.
Well, I started smoking cigarettes at age 5.
I mean, we bow before Ryan just did it. We bow before the superiority of your goatee.
Well,
did you say before the age of 5?
Yeah.
Instead of candy cigarettes, it was real cigarettes for
Oh,
Weaver.
yeah, sure. And you know what? You know what they say? Smoking at that age leads to a life of woodpeckering.
It's that and the rock and roll.
It's that heathen rock and roll, boys.
Yeah, before you know it, you got bricks in hand and you're searching for peckers.
Chasing woodpeckers.
That's right. Before we get too far down this road, let's turn our attention to something that's coming up next month that I am very, very proud to be associated with. Gloria Giorno reached out to me, and she is with the Reagan Society, and I'm going to allow her to describe what the concept of the Reagan Society is. It is in Franklin, Tennessee. They've got a big event coming up May 17th, and I'm a part of it, and Gloria is on the line with us to tell you all about it and how you can be a part of it as well. Gloria, good afternoon. Welcome in.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Good to see you. Good to talk with you. You doing well?
Yes, I'm doing well, except for the allergies in Tennessee. But yes, other than that, I'm doing great. Thank you.
This year's bad. It's pretty brutal.
Killer.
I tell I tell the story often that I have an example of how the Lord how the Lord works, because I picked on people with allergies for a long time in my life. I was like, come on, y'all, suck it up. Ha, 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 you got out, whatever, just little allergies. And then at about the age of 40, the Lord smote me with allergies. And, woo, it's been rough. But tell us a little about the Reagan Society, what the impetus behind the formation of the group was.
Well, the Reagan Society is an organization that makes politics affordable for everyone. We only do conservative politics, but I try to keep it affordable. The cost to be able to see the first person who actually spoke for the Reagan Society was Tom Homan, our board czar. And the cost to be able to see Tom was $25 if you were under the age of 40 and $50 if you were over the age of 40. There is nobody who can make it as affordable as we can. And you and I both know that we need to engage every Republican, every conservative in every conversation we're able to, because if we don't, we can't win. And the goal is to keep voting red, keep Tennessee red. If we do not work with every voter across all demographics, all socioeconomic levels, we will not be able to win. So when I started the Reagan Society, I did it because actually I had a nonprofit that the Biden regime decided I was a politician, so they took away from me because I was an elected delegate at large for President Trump, and I was asked to serve on platform, and I was proud to serve on platform. And I wrote a book about discrimination at our schools called Outcasts, how the radical left tried to destroy a young conservative. That young conservative was my son at Belmont University. So I guess the Biden regime decided to take away my nonprofit. And having had lived in a communist country, I grew up in Yugoslavia, I decided I would never allow the government to be able to take anything away from me again. So the Reagan Society was formed. It is strictly an LLC. It is strictly a political organization to educate and to bring conservative speakers into Tennessee and make it affordable for everyone to hear from them.
Oh, I was so pleased to hear from you earlier in the month when we had a conversation about the event that you've got coming up in May. Very exciting. You mentioned that Tom Homan was your first speaker, and it's my understanding, I was not there, but it's my understanding he absolutely knocked it out of the park. Our borders are, of course. Tell us about the speaker that you have coming in this year.
We hosted Nicole Parker, who was a CNN commentator. She is a CNN commentator, a former FBI agent. She wrote a book about the two FBIs. And on May 17th, we're proud to welcome Nick Shirley, the 24-year-old, newly turned 24-year-old young man who is discovering fraud. Minnesota, California. He's threatening to go to my home state of Illinois, and I'm actually really excited.
Good.
I can't wait. I can't wait for him to get up there and see what JB's been doing all these years. But yes, I mean, Nick is doing more work than anyone in Congress put together at this point, and he's a 24-year-old kid. And for him to be able to discover the things that he is was simply, he's got an iPhone, and he's just recording things, and he's asking the questions that no one wants to ask. No one. There's a fear factor with our police. There's a fear factor going on in this country. And here is this brave young man who reminds me of Charlie Kirk, who, was a neighbor of ours up north, who reminds me so much of Charlie. And I'm so grateful that we have a young person who's doing this work, who's inspiring other people to do the same.
Well, I'm very excited that you and I spoke, and you offered me the opportunity to be a part of the event through a conversation with Nick Shirley when he comes into town to Franklin on May 17th. That's very exciting. And what's more exciting is this is an opportunity for folks not only to hear the conversation, to enjoy what he has to say, but also to talk with Nick directly through a question and answer session. Tell people how they can be a part of all of this, Gloria.
Sure. Yes, if you're going to be doing the original, interview, you're going to do a great interview, and then afterwards we will have Q&A with the audience. We will also be joined by Craig Campbell, a country singer extraordinaire, so he'll be there as well. Tickets are available at Eventbrite under the Reagan Society, or you can just, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. You can find us anywhere. You can find me, and everything is posted. But yes, it will be in Franklin, Tennessee, and we're very excited. We're very excited to meet with Nick, and we want everybody to be there and to be able to hear you do a great interview with Nick.
Well, I'm excited to be able to speak with Nick more than anything, to give his story as to how he started all of this and why it's so important that we encourage more youngsters these days to question authority, to continue to ask questions, even if those questions make those in positions of power and authority fearful or angry or concerned. Those questions are the most important. And frankly, doing the job that many within the mainstream media apparatus refuse to do nowadays, and Shirley is clearly doing that. He reminds me so much of a different version of a James O'Keefe. He reminds me so much of a different version of a Charlie Kirk. His youth, his enthusiasm, and his ability to get to the bottom of these stories. He broke Minnesota wide open. He's now going around the country and doing that in other places. And so his backstory is a fabulous conversation, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to filling the room with like-minded folks with the Reagan Society. What a great organization you've started in the heart of Middle Tennessee, Gloria. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I love it. I love the Reagan Society. I love who we bring in. I love being able to make a difference. And yes, Nick Shirley will be the youngest person we have ever hosted. And I'm very excited about that because you and I have to rely on the future generation to be able to keep Tennessee red and to be able to keep our country going. And with the midterms around the corner, we need to help President Trump as much as we can. So we need to be a strong influence, especially on people who want to be at events, but unfortunately many events are overpriced and they can't. So the Reagan Society will always keep it affordable for everyone to be able to be part of the conservative conversation.
Go to the Reagan Society .is it com, Gloria? .com?
.com.
Yeah,
Yes,
the ReaganSociety.com.
Go to event, or Eventbrite, and we're on there. But the ReaganSociety.com is us, yes.
Well, wonderful. We'll continue the conversation, and we encourage everybody to be a part of this. This is Sunday afternoon. It starts at about, about 1 o'clock, I guess, doors open?
The doors open at 1 o'clock, and we'll be starting about 2:15. But yes, but the doors open at 1. It will be at a restaurant. Everyone will be emailed the night before for security purposes. So they will be emailed the night before to know where it's at. But, yeah, there's food and drink available for people who want to get there early to get a good seat. But, there is VIP seating as well. If you go to the Eventbrite site, yes, go to our website. Everything is on there.
Gloria, thank you so much, and we'll be talking again. Once again, that's May 17th. Doors opening at 1 o'clock, and we'll tell you the venue a little bit closer, too. Gloria, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Matt. Have a great day.
All right, you do as well. There's Gloria Giorno with the Reagan Society. She was nice enough to ask me to be a part of the event in terms of a conversation that we'll have. It's not, so much an interview, but a conversation with Nick Shirley. Once again, that's May 17th, Sunday afternoon in Franklin, Tennessee, and the venue will be named at a little bit of a later time. We're getting brand new breaking news regarding Congress. Eric Swalwell, California representative, has resigned from Congress. He was running for governor, and it was on my list of things to discuss, and literally it was number 3 on my list. Eric Swalwell out as a gubernatorial candidate. Time to resign from Congress, I said. Well, he has. We'll talk about it next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for USS, your foundation leader in Middle Tennessee and beyond. Friends, what you don't know can hurt you. And what you don't know about your foundation certainly can hurt you. Give yourself peace of mind. When it comes to USS, they are all about getting out and making you sleep better tonight. Since 1994, they've done just that. For over 30 years, they've helped over 30,000 satisfied local customers who have trusted USS. Now, when I say local, they are your local foundation experts. They live here, they work here, and they understand exactly how Tennessee soil works, how the weather works, and how homes behave. They understand how to read the signs. Every crack tells a story, and they can figure out if that crack is just that, a crack natural settling, or if it is a problem that must be addressed. One of the first calls that I made was to USS to come out to my new home and to check it out to make sure everything's on the A-OK, and they gave me the big thumbs up, and I'm so pleased about that. It gives me a level of peace of mind, and you homeowners understand what that peace of mind means to you. So give them a call. Start the journey at USSTN.com. USSTN.com. They are problem solvers, experienced and local. They are USS. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. I've got a question for you. When it comes to your health, would you rather know what's going on inside of your body or just hope that everything's fine? Well, I think we know the answer to this. It's almost a rhetorical question. Of course, you want to know what's happening. A lot of times, people who feel great have no idea what's going on beneath the surface, or maybe if you just feel like something's going on and you want to know, knowing versus not knowing. That is why I went to Craft Body Scan. I've talked about this company for a long time now, and I love the way they do their business, and I appreciate what they do for our community. The scan, quick, non-invasive, walking out with real answers was incredibly refreshing. I mean, it takes, 5 to 8 minutes, and right now Craft Body Scan is offering our listeners a couple's heart and lung scan valued at over $2,500 for just $99, and you heard me correctly. It is fast, it is easy, and it can give you true peace of mind. An early heads up before symptoms ever show up. Now, they have a lot of different types of scans available, but for this couple's heart and lung scan, I want you to go to togetherwescan.com and use promo code MATT50. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, 50. 50, or call 615-436-1000. 436-1000. Tell them you heard about them on the Matt Murphy Show. Once again, Together We Scan, promo code MATT50 for Craft Body Scan.
City leaders in one Middle Tennessee town considering utility rate increases. I'll tell you about it at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
But there's a lot of that coming up. Thank you, Ken Weaver. I know prices going up everywhere, man. I gotta fill the old truck up tonight after I get off work.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. It's for a long time I was pleased. I can tell when gasoline prices are reasonable. My truck has a big old tank on it. It's like a 30-gallon tank on it. And if I can fill up and not have to reset the pump, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because most of these pumps at these gas stations, they go off at $100. They won't go over $100. And now I got to do it twice. I got to go to 100 and then finish filling it up before I leave. And it's no good, but we're experiencing it, and it's a part of the concern about what's going on in Iran. We will talk and continue to discuss the latest on Iran coming up just after the top of the hour newscast with Ken Weaver. I mentioned that Representative Eric Swalwell of California has announced his resignation. He, on Friday, this came pretty quick. Now, it has been brewing for years, and individuals came out of the woodwork over the weekend to say, oh, yeah, well, we had suspicions back in 2020 that this was going on. Why didn't you talk about it in 2020? Why'd you cover it up for so long? I mean, news media organizations were like, yes, we had many suspicions and stories and rumors floating about Eric Swalwell and his indiscretions with members of his female staff. Well, why didn't you talk about it? Why didn't you say anything about it? What about #MeToo? Congressman Eric Swalwell said earlier this afternoon, that he would resign from Congress a day after dropping his bid for California governor. Quoting him here, I am deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for mistakes and judgment I've made in the past. But then he insisted I will fight the serious false allegation made against me. I must take this responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make. He said he was aware of expulsion efforts by other members of Congress in light of sexual allegations being made against him, and said, doing so without due process is wrong. It's also wrong for my constituents to have me distracted from my duties. I plan to resign my seat from Congress. Well, you plan to resign your seat. When's that going to happen, buddy? How about today? How about let's clean out that office and go on home? If you missed the accusations against him, Friday, 4 women came forward and they published their accusations. We'll talk about that coming up in a couple of minutes. Plus, the gambit by Donald Trump and his administration regarding a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. We shall discuss that as well. It's 5 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Rain is moving out, but heat is sticking around. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And as you heard Brother Murphy just say, California Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell says he plans to resign from Congress amid sexual assault and misconduct allegations. In a statement posted on social media, Swalwell said efforts were underway to force a rapid expulsion vote against him. He argued that removing a lawmaker without due process is wrong, but said the controversy would distract him from serving constituents. His resignation comes a day after he suspended his run for California governor. Here's Jay O'Brien.
Swalwell had faced accusations of sexual assault and sexual misconduct, including from former staffers of his. He says, quote, I am deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for mistakes in judgment I have made in my past. I will fight, he goes on to say, the serious false allegations made against me. However, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make.
Here in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro city leaders considering utility rate increases to keep up with what they call rapid growth. Under the proposal, most households would see bills go up about $3 a month starting next year. The increase would help pay for a $115 million wastewater treatment plant expansion. A final vote has not yet been scheduled. Operation Epic Fury. Mediators have launched into a flurry of activity aimed at getting negotiations between the U.S. and Iran back on track. Meanwhile, President Trump telling reporters at the White House today why talks with Iran broke down.
It was over nuclear, very similar. Yeah, very good. I guess you're listening. It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal.
And the man accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is now facing federal charges, as we hear from ABC's Mike Dubusky.
Texas man Daniel Moreno Gama is being accused of throwing a firebomb at the house of Sam Altman last week, sparking a fire. Police say they later discovered writing from Moreno Gama, including a list of investors, board members, and executives at prominent AI companies that he allegedly intended to kill.
Early yesterday, Altman's house was again the site of a police incident, this time a shooting. Police have 2 people in custody in that case. And a produce staple is seeing drastically higher prices than compared to a year ago. Tomato prices skyrocketing, mainly because of tariffs on Mexican imports. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
A key explanation here is tariffs. About 2/3 of all of the fresh tomatoes that Americans consume are imported, and the vast majority come from Mexico. Well, right now, there are still steep 17% tariffs on those Mexican imports, and we import more during the winter and spring.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine got a crash, 24 eastbound right there at 440. Antioch, 24 eastbound before Harding Place. Then in Spring Hill, a crash, 65 southbound at Saturn Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Pleased you've decided to join us on this Monday edition. It's just after 5 o'clock. Perhaps you're just getting off work. Let's try to catch you up with everything that's going on. You just heard some of the news from Ken Weaver in News Closet B, and we will opine on said same. Eric Swalwell is or plans to be out. See, I hesitate to say he's out because I don't know that he's out, because he says he plans to be out, but he's not out. One way or the other, Eric Swalwell had accusations leveled against him by several female people in his orbit, accusing him of sexual assault and accusing him of rape, non-consensual sexual activity. Eric Swalwell suspended his gubernatorial campaign in California last week, or I guess it was just yesterday. Over the weekend, he tried to figure out a way out of this. There is no way out of it, and now he has decided to resign his position, or claims that he will resign his position as a member of Congress. He said he, quote, plans to resign. No date firm on when that's going to happen, so it remains to be seen whether it happens at all. In the meantime, Donald Trump has changed tactics with regard to how we're going to handle the Iranians. President Trump yesterday announced a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz after negotiations in Pakistan to end the Iran war collapsed. Effective immediately, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. The blockade will begin shortly. Other countries will be involved with this blockade. Iran will not be allowed to profit off this illegal act of extortion. The president said the blockade will be enforced in an effort to stop Iran from policing the strait to its economic benefit while other countries suffer. At some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in, all being allowed to go out basis, but Iran has not allowed that to happen by merely saying that there will be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them. This is world extortion, and the leaders of countries, especially the United States, will never be extorted. So that blockade has apparently begun. U.S. Navy is blockading Iranian ports after the peace talks collapse. This has been called an ingenious move by the President of the United States. I mean, it's obviously a maneuver that was available to the President because peace talks failed, and sadly, the ceasefire seems to be failing as well. We are now roughly 6 weeks into the conflict, which was told to us to be a 6-week conflict. For longtime listeners of the radio show, you know that I have shared my concerns about how we get out of this. I don't pretend to be as smart as some of the military men and women who serve into the Trump administration. I don't pretend to be as smart as Secretary of War Pete Hegseth regarding these types of things. But I've been around the block a time or two, and we recognize the quagmire that can easily become the Middle East, especially when it comes to conflict within the Middle East. Last couple of engagements have not gone so well, Iraq and Afghanistan. This one, perhaps it will go better. Perhaps we will. I mean, the sad reality is that after being told repeatedly that there will be no boots on the ground, 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 all along my fear has been a matter of mission creep. We saw mission creep historically. You saw mission creep in Vietnam. I mean, we saw the danger of mission creep, Desert Storm. We saw mission creep when it came to Afghanistan even. We were assured that there would be none here, and there seems to be mission creep going on. And what I mean by that, Tulsi Gabbard, I'll pull the clip for you after I take a few calls. Tulsi Gabbard said earlier today, now this is Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, said, well, you know, we believe that, you know, we might have to put some boots on the ground, you know, for a small period of time. Regarding the blockade, Tulsi Gabbard, troops on the ground 7 to 10 days to get the extraction of the uranium that we need to extract. This was a component of the peace talk that broke down. The Trump administration wants the uranium. We want the enriched uranium. We want to set them back in that regard, and the only surefire way to do that is to seize the enriched uranium. They've not enriched it to the point that they can actually develop a nuclear weapon, but they've gotten along in the process. Well, we want that. And now Tulsi Gabbard says, well, we might have to put some troops on the ground for, 7 to 10 days. Okay. Well, I was told that that would not be happening. But now it's happening. Okay. I'm just, I'm just a commentator in Nashville, Tennessee. watching all of this happen before our very eyes, we all understand the risk. We all understand the danger. We all understand the necessity. And I also understand what we were told about all of this. I also understand the political realities of all of this. If we've got $5 a gasoline, if we've got $5 a gallon gasoline in July, we've got a problem. I do not believe the recent dust-up between Trump and the Pope will have any impact on the midterm elections. I don't. I do not believe that Donald Trump's a meme will be a blip on the radar screen 5 days from now. I just don't. I think most recognize that Donald Trump acts as a vessel, and that's it. Especially when it comes to religious matters. But man, oh man, the next few weeks are going to be very telling as to how the midterms turn out. Matt is in Shelbyville. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope you are.
Well, I'm trying to find my phone so I can take you off the thing here. I got you on these AirPods. Let me see if I can turn the volume. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Matt. I called because I heard about Donald Trump and the meme and everything, and I'm just worn out. I can't just. Normally, there's always been bad presidents in my lifetime and always bad policy, and you just fight through it and wait till the next time. But this is just getting, ridiculous. And let me ask you this: we have three forms of government. We got the Supreme Court, the Congress, and the executive branch. And when did we start to defer everything for one man? He's an executive. He is an executive branch. If you can't turn around, if you want to do these things through Iran, which the goals of what he wants is impossible to begin with.
What goals are impossible? I mean, what goals are you referring to? I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
The stop from Iran to ever have a nuclear weapon. That's not going to happen. If you did not radicalize these people before, you have destroyed their land. They are going to be on the fast track to get a nuclear weapon. Because
what land have we destroyed? We blew up a bridge. We blew up a bridge. We destroyed military installations, right?
I understand this. But hear me out. You have destroyed whatever Navy they had. You have taken off their Air Force. You're flying around in their airspace. Mm-hmm. You are doing whatever you want to do. They are going to make, after this is over, they are going to militarily make sure that nobody does this again to them. Because as the leader of the people, that's exactly what I would do. So you have made things worse.
Okay.
Because these people will get right eventually. Because you can't kill the ideology.
Do you believe that the 93? Hold on. Let's have a conversation about it. Do you believe that the 93 million Iranians share with the radical philosophy of their ruling class, their leadership?
I think the majority of them do.
Okay. All right. That's fine. You said that we will never. You said in your opening statement there that you don't believe that we will ever accomplish the goal of making sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon. So you believe that them achieving nuclear capabilities is inevitable. It's just it's going to happen. You believe that?
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I think that is just because our views are like this today, that does not mean that our views are like this from 20 years from now, or the world's views from 20 years from now. We have 40 countries right now that are nuclear capable. Isn't that right?
40?
I think that's what I think they said 40 countries.
I don't think it's 40.
I think it will. But what I'm saying is, and then you have Russia and China.
It's
and
not. By the way, the answer. Well, hold on. The answer is 9.
Okay.
So you were very, very, very wrong.
Okay. Well, that's what I heard.
I'll name them for you: Russia, United States, China, France, United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea.
So, what I'm saying is that things can change. You know, things can change in the years to come, and with Donald Trump, well, let's forget about that. This is one man's opinion that he's taking the country into certain places, and I'm sorry, but Congress has to do a better job because Congress is the one who can stop him.
All right, so I want to address this too. Hold on, I want to address this too because you said you said you reflected on the 3 branches of government. Tell me, Matt, tell me a time in American history where the executive branch has not attempted to flex their muscle and expand their power.
I think that that's a good question. I think they've always.
Yes, that's the answer. That's the answer. That's the answer. That's the right answer. They're very good. That's the right answer. They've always tried, and so it is. And largely over the last 50 or so years, Congress sadly has leaned into that because Congress is lazy, and so they don't want to do their job. And so I use this as a great example of how this power dynamic works. Right. So Congress writes a law creating OSHA, right? The Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And the law that created OSHA, you know how long it is? I'll tell you. It's 6 pages long. You know how many? I think there's up to 9,000 pages of regulations for OSHA at this point. But the law that created it said, hey, we want to create this, and we're going to leave it up to the executive branch to set up all the regulations. Well, that's not the executive branch's job, but when Congress gives them that power and authority, the executive branch takes it over, and they do it. So there's always been a power dynamic between Congress and the executive branch. The judicial branch of the United States Supreme Court has always been the ultimate authority in terms of judging who's right and who's wrong when those power dynamics come into dispute. And that has been going on since the beginning of the United States of America, and Donald Trump has not changed one bit of that. And I don't understand why you would say that it's different with Trump than it was with Obama, than it was with Biden, than it was with Bush, than it was, I could go down the list. It's always been there.
Well, I think that also you don't have presidents knew this. I think Obama mentioned it, Bush mentioned it, Reagan, and also the first Bush. They said that we wanted to go to these places, but we didn't want to push the limit. We didn't want to push the envelope. We didn't want to see how far we could go. And Donald Trump he's pushing it as far as he can go. But that's not the problem. The problem is somebody's going to come after him and push it even further. And I don't think one.
So you're judging the actions of Donald Trump based on future presidents?
Remember, we have to remember how you say, how do we get here? Well, he is going to be a major.
I suppose that. Are you a fan of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Matt?
A little.
Yeah. FDR, you should hate, based on your analysis of Donald Trump and what the future might bring, you should hate FDR because FDR did more to expand the executive branch of government than any president in our lifetime. Well, in any lifetime.
Yeah, but again, here we go again. That's where Congress's fault should have reined that in so we couldn't get here. But when do we start reining this in?
Well, what do you mean? I want to analyze. I mean, this is very curious, and I'm very appreciative of this conversation. What do you mean by rein what in? What rein what in?
Okay, if you elect me to be president of the United States, I don't just go fight to use your son and daughter to go fight that war and then turn around and get protection of, well, you are into your presidency, so you have your authority where you can't be charged. No,
his authority rests through Congress and the War Powers Act. His authority rests in his title as commander-in-chief.
Yes, the commander-in-chief. But again, when you are dealing, he and his family are not going out there on that front line getting shot, killed, wounded, and whatnot. So if that's the case, then you need to bring the people that you're about to send over there. Do they have a say? If not, does the American people want to go over there? Do the American people want to do this? Since you're using the American blood, the American people should be.
Man, with all due respect, you're not making any sense. Do you want to have a vote on it? What are you asking for? We elect a president to make these decisions. The American people had their say in November of 2024.
Again, Matt, let me say this. If I vote for you to do certain things that you run on, and then you get in and do the totally opposite of your plan, not America's plan, but your plan, I think we should have. I think we should have a guardrail so that doesn't happen.
What guardrail? What guardrail would you like to see?
What I would like to see is, especially when you're using deadly force and other people's children, I said, if we want to go over to Iran, you have to bring it to the people.
Matt, I don't mean to continue to interrupt you, but especially when you're using deadly force and other, how do you think wars are waged, man? I mean, by your logic, we should not have entered World War II because FDR was, using deadly force and other people's children. I mean, what conflict is justified by that standard?
We can always. What I'm saying is, World War II, when you have threats of our national interest, of our people overseas, of our people in our homeland.
Germany was not threatening the American national interest.
Yeah, you're right, because they had a national party in 1934 at Madison Square Garden for the Nazi Party. I remember that.
Yeah, Time Magazine named Hitler Man of the Year. Yeah, I'll get all of that. Matt, you've given me a lot to digest. I'm way behind. I'm telling you what I'll do. We'll suspend the call for now. You call back anytime you want. I've enjoyed the conversation, although the latter half of it, I'm just trying to keep up, man. I'm trying to understand what your point is, and I don't really understand what your point is. You disagree with the conflict? That's fine. That's all well and good. There's a lot of people that disagree with going over there. I have my concerns about whether or not it's going to be successful in the long term. But this idea that it's a fait accompli that Iran has nuclear weapons, you got to be kidding me, man. You want Iran? You think that, well, we just might as well give it up because they're going to get them anyway? As Trump said, not on our watch, not on his watch, 25 after the hour on Super Talk. My friends at Better Water have been in the better water business for 55 years, located right here in Middle Tennessee. Love that about this team. Love that about this group. Love that about this family. They remove sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli, everything from your water. They offer an incredible range of water treatment equipment, from reverse osmosis units, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it. They get it done. They are based in Smyrna, and they treat all of Middle Tennessee. They treat businesses like the coffee shops and the hospital, and they treat homes like mine. They can treat yours, too. Go to betterwater.com, betterwater.com for better water today. Feel better tonight. Feel at peace that you're not bathing or drinking something that's going to cause you or your family harm. It's Better Water. Give them a call and tell them I sent you. 615-355-6063. 355-6063. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Accurate Mortgage. You know, Accurate Mortgage understands that mortgage rates are going down. You should understand this, too. The rates have gone down considerably, and better still, pricing on housing is going down. So we're reaching that honey spot where you can find the right house for you at a great price and still get a good mortgage rate when you buy. I did this in January. I closed in my house in January. Could not be happier with the results, and I want you to make that move. Do not be afraid of doing it right now because the mortgage rates are possible. Make it possible. Unlike the big online lenders at Accurate Mortgage, you're a neighbor. You're somebody that they go to the ball game with, that they see at the grocery store, and they're never going to tell you to do anything that is not in your best financial interest. They just don't do it. They never advise a loan that doesn't make sense for you financially. Now, listen, even though rates may be a little bit higher than your current mortgage, it might do you well to refinance your mortgage rate right now if you have higher interest credit card debt that you're looking to pay off. If you want to do a cash-out refi to maybe build onto your home, you can do that as well. Visit Accurate Mortgage today. The way to get started is going to AccurateMTG.com, AccurateMTG.com, Accurate Mortgage and MLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change. Equal housing lender. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Accurate Mortgage.
.5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Well, Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell says he's going to step down from Congress following sexual assault allegations and growing pressure from members of both parties. Swalwell said he opposes expulsion without due process, but believes remaining in office would interfere with his responsibilities. The announcement came the same day the House Ethics Committee confirmed it had opened an investigation into the allegations. Swalwell had suspended his California gubernatorial campaign just 1 day earlier. Residents in Murfreesboro could soon see higher water and sewer bills. City officials say the proposed rate hikes in Murfreesboro would amount to about $3 more per month for the average household. The money would support major wastewater and infrastructure projects that city leaders say are needed to meet future demand. City council members continuing discussions before taking any vote. Operation Epic Fury. Mediators pushing for another round of U.S.-Iran talks before the ceasefire expires. President Trump told reporters at the White House today,
"We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
Meanwhile, there is the fallout from Catholic and other religious communities after President Trump called the Pope soft on crime, and I don't want a Pope who criticizes the President of the United States.
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine got a crash, 24 eastbound at I-440. Antioch, 24 eastbound before Harding Place. Franklin, a stalled vehicle on the right shoulder, 65 northbound before Murfreesboro Road. And in Spring Hill, got a crash, 65 southbound at Saturn Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Spring is in full swing, and the season has geared up. There's no better place or no better time to upgrade your equipment and save big than at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply during Toro Days, now through May 17th. Take advantage of special savings on Toro walk mowers designed for big-time power, long-lasting durability, and easy operation that works just as hard as you do. Whether you're landscaping professionally or a serious homeowner, Toro delivers the performance you can count on. And when it comes to quality equipment, incredible replacement parts, and incredibly knowledgeable experts, there's only one place to go, and that is Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Go where the pros go. 7 separate convenient Middle Tennessee locations. Let's run them down now. Nashville, Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. Help is always just a few miles away. Stop in today or stop online at DickensSupply.com. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Tell them I sent you. Go where the pros go. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Shane Ring and Cover Nash, they're great at what they do. And I've seen it firsthand. I've sat down with Shane firsthand. In Brentwood, he has an office available. He loves to see folks. He loves to meet in person. And if you're the type that you like to meet one-on-one and sit down and look somebody in the eye, you can do that with Shane and Cover Nash. They're not just one of these phone-only organizations. Plus, they're local. And Shane understands Tennessee healthcare better than anybody that I've spoken with. And he understands health insurance more than anyone that I've ever spoken with either. Shane can help you. He can shop all of the different programs, all of the different plans available to you. Don't believe somebody that says, well, it's not open enrollment. You can't do anything right now. No. Shane will figure out a way, and there are ways to get it done to get you into a better situation regarding your health insurance. You do not have to play by Washington's rules. You can pay less for the same quality coverage thanks to Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Real health coverage on your terms, not the government's. Call Shane today, 615-465-0023 or coverdash.com, coverdash.com. Man, oh man, guys. Glad to have you back. 536, almost 537. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Young Ryan shadowing Jackson Williams in Control Room A. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. Matt Murphy, your humble host and correspondent until 7 o'clock tonight. Just happy to have you with us. I was, during that brief advertisement timeout, young Jackson Williams, a.k.a. J. Willie, a.k.a. Y2J, a.k.a. Reaction Jackson, a.k.a. Action Jackson, a.k.a. King J. Willie, he was giving me the what for.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ken, you didn't hear this.
What's Brother Jackson doing?
Ryan heard him give me the what for. Told me that I'll do what I'm told during the Ninkumpoops in the news segment, and I'll sit here and like it.
Matt goes, I'm going first today. I said, no, you're not. I won Wednesday.
And you know what I told him, Ken?
What?
I said, we can just not do the segment at all. How about that?
Well, then you'll have a listener revolt on your hands, and that's not something you want from my loyal subjects.
I just don't like the backsass. I don't care for it. I have to deal with the backsass between 5:40 and 5:55 every day. I don't like it creeping into the normal life cycle. My goodness. Just let me do my story and be done with it, Jackson.
Oh, I've got a story for today.
Do you? Where's it from? You can tell me. You get to pick the order according to you. You don't even know. All right, we're getting to Adam and Henry and Mike and Mike. Two Mikes and Adam and a Henry.
It is from Indianapolis.
Very good. I like that story. That's a good story. That's a fine story.
I'm going to look it up. I'm
got another one out of Florida.
That's me. I'm going to go number 2.
I'm going to steal that one, too.
We're getting to your calls. Oh, we lost. No. I was told to take line 5. Should I take line 5? We always do this and I always get screwed up. And I do it anyway because I was told that Mike in Nashville has a good point to make. Mike, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hello, Mike.
Okay, yeah, how you doing?
I'm great.
Hey, listen, I got a couple of things to discuss with you and see how you feel about this situation. Because, see, I'm not very happy with the Iraq situation that's going on right now. I mean, Iran. Okay, now, we all know that Iran, I was at the start of the deal, you know, I knew that the supreme leader had to be eliminated. The guy I seen some of the videos even before Trump went in, and he was saying death to America. He was saying that he didn't want to cooperate with it. And then, like I said, the guy, you know, when the U.S. went into Iran last year with the B-2 bombers and dropped the bombs, you would have thought that guy would have said that he didn't want to have his discontinue his nuclear program, but he didn't. He kept on with it, and Donald Trump kept warning the guy that they were going to have to stop their program. He refused to do it, so eventually Trump went in, and, you know, as we all know, he started dropping bombs. He eliminated him, and then he eliminated his son, so they say, and some other leaders. Okay, now you would think that these people, after losing everything that they've lost their Navy, they've lost basically their infrastructure. The only thing they got left is the lights and the power and the nuclear. That's it. And if Donald Trump can, like he said, send them back to the caveman days if he decides to do that. You would think that maybe over the weekend, I thought on Friday, when they announced that Vance and these other people were going to meet with these individuals, that Monday morning, that we would have some kind of an agreement on Monday morning, but yet we have another disagreement. These people are still refusing to turn over the material that they use to make nuclear bombs. They're still refusing to stop their nuclear program. So now I think that Donald Trump, we're only left in one position right now with this situation, because it's obvious that these people, these so-called leaders or whoever's in command of Iran, they're not going to cooperate, and they're not going to give up their nuclear aspirations at this point. So there's only thing, you know, like I say, I don't want to use that. I hope it doesn't come to that, but unfortunately, I don't like using that word because they call it nuke. I don't want to see nobody get nuked, But it's getting to be real serious situation now. If these people, there's only one way to get this straight, that these people are stopping, because Americans are fed up with it. And see, here's what I'm afraid of. Is see,
Mike, Mike.
No, listen to what I'm. Well, go ahead.
No. Hold on a second. I'm putting Mike on hold. I'm very respectful of the nature of Mike's call. Mike, I'm also respectful of the time that it is. So what I want you to do, if you can, is hold on. If you can't, I'm going to respond to what you've gotten to so far in a couple of minutes. But as I'm apt to do, I'm trying to juggle two things at once. And out of respect for your call, I've put you on hold because I don't want to rush through it, go to Ninkumpoops, and then forget about you. So hopefully you can hang on, and we'll get to you in a moment. But right now, it's time for Ninkumpoops in the News.
Ninkumpoops in the News.
Hey, 0360 says, tell Jackson to watch his smart mouth or your lawn guy will whoop his grass. That's my lawn guy. He can be your lawn guy, too. Your lawn guy. Man, Justin is good. He's coming out to the house a little bit later on this week. Not a second too soon. Hey, friends, it's time for Ninkumpoops in the News. You know what the headlines are. Ken Weaver's been talking about them all afternoon. Matt Murphy's been opining on said same. Now it's time to scour the entire volunteer state, these United States of America. Nay the globe. And
That's my favorite part.
What, nay the globe?
Nay the globe.
Nay the globe! We go to where the Ninkumpoops live and breathe. We find them, we dig them out of the holes that they crawled into, and we present them to you, the listening audience. You vote every day. And sadly, you've decided to vote for Jackson Williams for the last 6 weeks, and we're getting this sassy Jackson, which I don't really care for, but whatever. Hopefully, he will be dispatched as King Nincompoop this week. Jackson.
Long live the king.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to be king.
Yeah, you got the hat on, you got the crown on, and the headphones on.
Yep, it's a challenge. I'm just not moving my head very much.
Yeah, that's probably pretty good. You on camera there?
I am on camera.
Everybody looking at you. Good.
I can't look at the camera to see how it looks because I can't move my head even an inch.
This is not what Ninkumpoops looks like.
This is not what Ninkumpoops looks like. I don't know why we're doing that, but we're doing it. Jackson, without further ado, we've got 3 stories. We got 10 good minutes. It's time to get going. You pick the order because you won last week. What's the order, sir?
The order is Williams, Weaver, Murphy.
If either of you pick my story, I'm not looking up another story because I told you to pick me second, and you decided not to. You jerk. What is this? What do we do?
It is my king music. Everybody say, hear ye, hear ye.
Everybody liked Ninkumpoops before you got an attitude. That's all I'm saying. I'll be there when... Justin's coming Wednesday morning to cut my grass. Thank you, Justin. Not a second too soon. You're long guys. Look him up, long guys. I mean, he's great. He's so good. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, are you guys ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Man shot in Kroger parking lot after argument over Pokemon cards. Person of interest detained.
Oh, were you doing a Kroger commercial?
That was a Kroger ad that played under that little that thing. My king music went away.
I wonder if they heard you talk about the Kroger.
I believe they did. That is proof that they're listening, folks.
Always listening.
Indianapolis Police Department Captain Don Wellhammer said at the scene that the incident was a targeted shooting and that there is no threat to the public. IMPD is investigating after a man was shot in the parking lot of a Kroger store Saturday evening following an alleged argument over Pokemon cards. According to IMPD, just before 7 p.m. on April 11th, officers were called to the 680 Twin Eyre Drive near Southeastern Avenue and East Pleasant Run Parkway Drive East on the near east side of Indianapolis following a report of a person shot. When officers arrived on scene, they found a man in the parking lot of a Kroger suffering from gunshot wounds. Police say that man was taken to an area hospital and is in stable condition and underwent surgery. According to IMPD Captain Don Wellhammer, a preliminary investigation show that the shooting was targeted and stemmed from an alleged argument over Pokemon cards.
It's almost a tongue insurrection for the king.
Yes, sir.
A person of interest was detained at the scene, but police are still working to determine their involvement, if any. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact IMPD Detective Andrew Ashley at, there's his phone number. I'm not going to give old boy's phone number out.
The best part about these Ninkumpoops stories is the way we pre-read them. Anyway, go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
That's it. Long live the king.
Long live the king.
I'm getting ready to unseat the king.
Let's go, Ken. Let's make it happen.
Starting with this story out of Bremerton, Washington.
All right.
Crisis of bowels. Bremerton burglary call turned out to be just a, quote, crappy situation. Not every burglary call is what it seems, Bremerton police wrote on their Facebook page. And BPD recently responded to a call that proved just that. Officers were called to a report of a burglary in a building downtown this week where a man had forced his way into the building and barricaded himself inside a bathroom. From behind the closed door, he could be heard yelling, making a lot of noise. According to Bremerton PD, which reinforced, sound like Jerry Clower, which reinforced the idea that this might turn into a tense encounter.
Shoot this thing.
Officers yelled commands for the man to leave the bathroom after being told several times. He finally came out. Bremerton PD wrote on Facebook, what happened next was not your typical burglary scenario. Let's just say the situation became immediately clear to everyone present that this was less about criminal intent and more about a full-blown personal emergency. The man told police it was a crisis of bowels. Based on the totality of the circumstances, that assessment was not in dispute, according to Bremerton PD. The individual was taken to a hospital for treatment.
Whoa. Blowing that thing up.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Blowed it up real good.
Blowed it up really good.
Broke in to do it.
You got to, well.
He was having an emergency.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I think we've all been there. Let's hope not to this degree, but I feel like we've all been.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's been there.
Everybody's been there. We haven't done this story about Subway and the Peppers, have we?
No.
Gosh, I hope not.
I don't recall
very
that.
good. I don't either. All right, here we go. Nincompoop number 3. The winning nincompoop, I'd say. A Florida woman tore up a Subway restaurant because she was, quote, tore up in a very different fashion than you, Ken, because she was up. Don't. What are you muting Ken's mic for? You always do this to me. You know what? You always do this to me. You mute Ken's mic so he can't laugh at my stories. That's what happens, Jackson. You are something else. I see you in there. I'm watching you. It's time that we dethrone this king, Ken. Me and you. We got to take this down. All right. I'm back. All right. A Florida woman tore up a Subway restaurant because she was, quote, upset about the peppers on her sandwich and demanded a new one, according to police, after placing an online order. Now, Ken, you are the official newsman. I'm going to say it's Lemonique. It's L'Munique. Lemonique.
Yep, Lemonique.
Lemonique Clark, 33, picked up her sandwich at Subway near her St. Petersburg residence. Clark used Sub Club reward points, so the chow was free of cost, according to the arrest report. Shortly after, she came back into the store and was upset about the peppers on her sandwich and demanded a new one. A Subway employee told Clark her sandwich was, quote, made how she ordered it online and that new grub would not be forthcoming. In the wake of the hoagie denial, Clark pushed a cash register and a printer off the counter. She then reached into the sanctity of the cookie display and threw multiple trays of the baked delicacies into the floor. That resulted in 37 cookies not making it at the Subway. Clark's Subway rage was recorded by store security cameras, and the defendant used her own real name and phone number when placing the online order, Lemonique Clark. Clark has previously been convicted of grand theft and stealing merchandise from a Beal's department store. In 2023, she was arrested for slashing her children's father with a butcher knife. But prosecutors subsequently dropped that felony charge against her. She now faces additional charges for busting up the Subway restaurant because they put the wrong peppers on her poppycock. And that is my nincompoop in the news. That's how we play, boys. Ninkumpoops in the news. Super Talk 99.7 WT. And now this is how you get along. You can vote on the YouTube chat. That counts for 5 full votes. You can also get your individual vote counted by dialing us up at 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Vote Murphy. Vote Jackson. Vote Murphy. Vote Weaver. Vote Murphy. Super Talk 99.7 WT. You okay in there, Jackson? You mad at me?
Vote Weaver. Vote for me.
Mm-hmm. Stacking those aces on the bottom of the deck. I saw you in there. That's how we do it. It is Ninkumpoops in the news. We'll get back to Mike and Henry in moments on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you about the Glock store. Have you been? I certainly hope that you've been. They are the finest gun shop that I've ever walked inside. Finest gun shop, finest gun establishment that I've ever been inside of. Not just because of their incredible retail space, and it's beautiful, and they've got more Glocks than you can shake a stick at. They've got all manner of guns and accessories and clothing items and whatnot. Of course, magazines and ammunition. But the Shoot 270 rooms, never lanes at the Glock store, Shoot 270 rooms are unmatched as well. And it truly is an equal component to arming yourself. Arming yourself is a part of your Second Amendment rights. It's part of that self-defense that we understand in the state of Tennessee. But understanding how and when to use, one of the reasons I loved the force-on-force simunition that we went through recently was because it gave you a real-world example of when to use deadly force. It's all about helping you in terms of your abilities and capabilities at shoot270.com. You can find out more at shoot270.com or glockstore.com. And don't forget to save the date. If you don't go before, you've got to be there on May 30th. All of us are going to be there. Dan Mandis will be there. Chris Hand will be there. Matt Murphy will be there. And we expect to see you at the Glock Store Open House. It is fabulous, filled with raffle giveaways. You just won't believe it. You've got to see it for yourself. The 4th annual is coming on May 30th. It's the incomparable Glock Store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Once a year in the spring, Genesis Diamonds does something incredible. It's a 3-day massive store-wide sale. And you've heard me say this, that when Genesis says they have a sale, they don't mark up to mark down. They have a legit sale with savings up to 35%. And it is happening April 24, 25, and 26. And I want you to mark your calendars. If you've been around for a while, you know the big deal that this is. Exclusive jewelry designers fly in just for this with trunk loads of all new trendy design jewelry from New York and California. The staff at Genesis know that it's time to break these rules, all of the rules at this event. Big savings on rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, case after case of mind-blowing deals. During this event, you can also take advantage of extra discounts on natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds as well. You can build the ring of your dreams. You can do anything. Colored gemstones are also included. Designer jewelry, 3 days, up to 35% off store-wide, April 24, 25, and 26, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Sad day for Titans fans. Coach Mack has passed away. Give you the details coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We're going to talk with Rhett Bryan coming up in just a few moments in the 6 o'clock hour about the news you just heard from Ken Weaver. If you ever had the pleasure or the opportunity to meet Dave McGinness, it was an absolute delight. And he is one of those rare individuals that made you feel like you knew him forever when you first laid eyes on him. And he was very, very kind to me when I first walked into this building at Cumulus Nashville some 4 years ago and gave me time and opportunity that I did not deserve. We lost him today at the age of 74, and we're going to talk with Rhett Bryan about that coming up in just a couple of moments as we remember the life and the legacy of the great coach Dave McGinness, who passed away earlier today. We'll do that in just a little bit. Mike and Henry, if you're there, hang in there. If you're on the lines, we'll get to you as well. Plenty of news coming out today. Eric Swalwell has resigned as a representative out of California. We don't know when that resignation is going to take effect. And obviously, we are in the midst of a blockade attempting to convince the Iranians economically as opposed to militarily that they need to get right with the world. We'll continue along those lines as well. It's time for news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, it is a sad day for Titans fans.
This is Coach Mack, and it's time to go beneath the surface.
Longtime NFL coach, Titans radio analyst Dave McGinness dying today at the age of 74. Known to generations of players and fans as Coach Mack, McGinness spent more than 4 decades in football as a coach and broadcaster. He led the Arizona Cardinals as head coach, later became longtime assistant with the Titans before moving to the radio booth. The Titans organization and former players say McGinness will be remembered for his passion for the game and the people he mentored. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell announcing he intends to resign as he faces sexual misconduct allegations. In a post on X, Swalwell said he was aware of plans for an immediate expulsion vote in the House. While criticizing the lack of due process, he said his focus must be on his constituents, not allegations. The move follows his decision yesterday to end his campaign for California governor. Getting some breaking news now about another member of Congress. This Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez says he's going to resign after admitting to an affair with an ex-aide, the second lawmaker, as you just heard, to announce their departure today. That's Tony Gonzalez there, congressman out of Texas. Here in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro residents may soon pay more on their utility bills as the city plans major infrastructure upgrades. City leaders proposing increases to water and sewer rates that would raise the average household bill about $3 a month starting next year. The money would help fund a $115 million wastewater treatment plant expansion that leaders say is needed to support growth. No final decision has been made. Operation Epic Fury
says the U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz has begun. The military blocking ships attempting to enter or exit Iranian ports there. Asked what his end game is, to force Iran back to the negotiating table or reopen the strait to bring down gas prices, the president said it's both.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
And at the White House today, when asked by a reporter about the image the president posted of him seemingly looking like Christ Jesus.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross, as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it. And I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better. And I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
Now, the image stayed up for about 12 to 13 hours before being deleted this morning amid growing backlash. That's the latest news. Weather is next. So is traffic. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Glencliff got a crash. 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway. Looking over here on 65 going northbound in Franklin, you've got a stalled vehicle on the right shoulder right before Murfreesboro Road. Then in Spring Hill, that's a crash. 65 southbound at Saturn Parkway. And then in the Blackman area of Rutherford County, you've got a crash 840 eastbound at I-24. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy, The Matt Murphy Show, final hour of this Monday, April 13, 2026. Happy to have you with us on episode 1016. Some very, very, very sad news coming across our desk, I guess it is, or in the newsroom. We just found out recently about the passing of Coach Dave McGinness. He is so well beloved in this community and all across this nation. To know him is to love him. But particularly in this building, let me tell you something. If you crossed paths with Coach Mack, and I don't know him as well as most in the building, but I'll say this, that the first time I saw him was in the parking lot of Cumulus Nashville, right off of Music Row, and I knew who Coach Mack was, and I knew, quote unquote, that Coach Mack did not know me from David's house cat, right? And Coach Mack looked at me and said, hey. And I was like, yes, sir. And he said, you must be the new guy. And I was like, I am. And he goes, well, I don't listen much, but I listen a little. You sound pretty good. And I was like, well, thank you. And I said, I know you. You're Coach Mack. I'd know that voice anyway. Dave McGinness left us earlier today at the age of 74. And to talk about that, we welcome from the Titans Radio Network, Rhett Bryan, who is just gracious enough to join us. It's just a tough day for everyone, but nobody's got it tougher than Rhett. Obviously, you worked with Coach Mack for many, many, many years, and so thank you for stopping by, brother.
I'm glad to do it, Matt, and I wish it was under better circumstances. I literally just came from the hospital and preparing things in my laboratory, as I call it, to celebrate his life tomorrow on our sister station, 104.5 The Zone. And I'm heartbroken. I'm crushed. The man meant so much to me, personally and professionally. I'm a better broadcaster because of Dave McGinness. He was an open book to me into teaching me the National Football League game from a coach's perspective, someone who'd done it while their mortgage was riding on it, as he would say. I bugged him a few years ago about wanting to learn about the NFL draft process, which is 10 days from now. And he said, you sure that you want to, that's a lot of work, a lot of hours, and I don't need the practice. And I said, yes, I'm ready to do whatever, whenever, however. And he spoon-fed me and had the patience of Job the first couple of years we did it, and then he put more on my plate every year. And just recently, and a few days ago in the hospital, he said that I was ready to carry the load of this draft show that we'll have on Titans Radio in 10 days, and that he was proud of me. And that meant more than anything in the world to me. But you're right. He never met a stranger, Matt. He never did. He was a man of the people. I called him the mayor of everywhere. He never met a stranger at all.
That's
right. He was a massive, massive ambassador for the Tennessee Titans and for the game of football. He had such a fantastic gift of making you the most important person in the world at the moment he was speaking to you. And everything else was periphery in that point.
All right.
And he will be sorely, sorely missed. That's an understatement.
The second, I mentioned the first time I met him in the parking lot. The second time I met him, I was still doing my midday show from noon to 3. It was during the season. I saw him in the hall. I popped my head out to say hello to him. We got to talking, and I said, well, do you have a couple minutes? And he came on the show with me.
Sure.
And that's just the kind of guy. I said, yeah, sure. And he probably didn't have a couple minutes, but he, like you say, he was one of those types of guys that you were the most important person in his world when you were standing there in front of him. And he had that quality on air, too. Let me tell you, not many broadcasters have the ability, with the knowledge that he had in his head, to make it really simple for all of us. And he got down to where the goats could graze on it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He could paint a picture. He reminded me in a certain way of a different type of Madden, that he had an incredible mind for football, but he was able to relate that in ways that for those of us who don't, we got it. We immediately got it.
Absolutely. He was very giving, as you mentioned. I mean, he just popped in the show and didn't know you from Adam, right?
Right.
As we were going through things in his home and trying to help him with some things, and I realized it's the first time, I'd never gone to Mac's house really until he started getting sick, and realized I was like, why did he have any furniture in his living room? This is weird. Then I remembered his neighborhood was greatly affected by the March 20th tornado that ripped through East Nashville, and there was neighbors who lost their stuff in the tornado, and he donated his furniture to them and never replaced it. Didn't need it, didn't care.
Wow.
Just gave and gave and gave. And I'm sure there's thousands of stories just like that only he knows, and maybe the recipient. But yeah, he gave his life to the game of football. You're talking about a guy that was a 3-year starter at TCU, grew up in Snyder, Texas, West Texas, a Snyder Tiger, but got an opportunity to play college football, started as safety there for 3 seasons. Went through the tragic story of his college coach, Coach Pittman, dropping dead of a heart attack right there in the middle of a ball game.
Wow.
He was, sophomore, junior.
Wow.
Went on to coach for 13 years in college. In fact, he had a business degree. He was going to go into finance or something. He's a very, very smart guy, not just about football.
He's a brilliant guy.
And TCU said, hey, we'll pay for your further advancement in school if you'll, recruit and do a little. He's like, sounds fun. Let's do that. And then he was in between jobs in the winter of 1986, and the Bears had just won the Super Bowl, and Vince Tobin called him from Chicago, and a couple days later, Mike Ditka called him, said, well, we'd kind of like to interview you for the linebackers coach, and, we're looking to expand the coaching staff here, and when could you be in Chicago? And he told Coach Ditka, he goes, I might be there tomorrow. Like, what are you talking about? And went and interviewed, and Mike Ditka made him the linebackers coach of Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall, Mike Singletary.
Wow.
And he would go on to coach there for a decade, moved out west, was the defensive coordinator and eventually the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And when they let him go in the end of the 2003 season, Jeff Fisher had him here as an assistant head coach and linebackers coach of the Titans. And then after that was done in 2012 as his time here, he followed Coach Fisher to St. Louis, and they eventually moved the Rams to Los Angeles. He had a 31-year coaching career at the NFL level. He joined us in 2017 and did the last decade with us on Titans Radio. He did 187 Titans radio games with us. I figured it up today. I was like,
had Coach Mack, had he done any broadcasting prior to?
He
that's
had a
just
radio,
natural, baby.
He had a radio and television show as a head coach of the Cardinals. Obviously,
yeah,
that's
sure.
kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But, I remember the August of 2017. First of all, Mike Keith calls him and says, hey, we'd like you to try this out. Well, this is like 2 days before training camp. He drives across country in his Ford F-150. And when I saw him at camp, he's like, he said, if you hear me saying I'm going to do that again, please hit me over the head with something.
Right.
But anyway, a few days later, we're in New York. Titans are playing the Jets in the preseason, and we're terrified he's going to let some expletives fly in the broadcast because he's coach.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't run a delay in the middle of a radio broadcast of a football game. And he assured us that everything would be fine. And after that first quarter, we all looked at each other and said, yep, it's going to work just fine. He was a natural.
No, and to listen to him is to know it. All of that just came naturally to him. And to work so many years alongside you, alongside Mike Keith, and of course, Mike left for the Volunteers position last year. And I just know the entire family, the entire Titans family has got to be just wrecked right now.
We are. That would probably be an understatement. He had such an impact. And to think about when Dave McGinness joined us in 2017, they were coming out of a lull then and were starting to get back into winning football games. And, oh, gosh, we had the playoff game in Kansas City in the 2017 playoffs where Marcus Mariota is throwing a pass. It gets deflected back to him. He catches his own touchdown and runs it in. And they were down 17 points or whatever. And Derrick Henry goes bananas. And then the 2019 playoffs, some of my favorite nights of my life, where the Titans went into Foxborough and ended the Patriots dynasty, went the next week in the divisional round to beat the number 1 seed in the Baltimore Ravens and the then MVP Lamar Jackson. And Dave McGinness was having a ball. He was the voice of reason for this franchise and for this fan base in the good and the not so good times. He'll never be forgotten. I promise you this, Matt Murphy. It is my mission now to tell people about Dave McGinness for the rest of my life. And I don't mean stories and memories. I mean tangible things. There will be things that I'm working with his longtime agent and friend, Danny Moore, who is just heartbroken tonight in Florida and had a 30-plus year relationship with him. We will have some things that will pause and go, who is this Dave McGinness guy? Why is he so special? What happened? What's the deal for the younger generations? I promise you people will know about Dave McGinness as long as I'm alive.
Coach Dave McGinness, dead at the age of 74 on this day, and, just one of the longtime voices of the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, the Titans family hurting, the entire community, the state of Tennessee hurting. I'll say this, though. As much as I knew him, and I knew him through the building and just through conversations that we had on and off the air, I certainly don't presume that I knew him as well as the 104.5 The Zone family. And I know that y'all are going to spend tomorrow celebrating the life of Coach Mack.
Yep.
But here's the quality that I immediately recognize, and it's because I lack it and I want it, and I'm trying to be better about it. I'm naturally a pessimist. I'm naturally, I look at the worst of any given situation. It's just kind of what I gravitate to. Coach Mack was the type of guy, and this was just my impression. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. He walked into the room. He always had a positive attitude. He always brightened the room when he walked in it. Like, he had an energy about him that was a positive energy that you cannot fake. You cannot pretend it. He just had it, and and I think it's that quality that caused people to gravitate to him. It's kind of
he had a magnetic personality.
Had a gravitational pull.
Yep.
Because you wanted in on that. Whatever's going on there, I want in on that, because it was whatever he's talking about. He could be talking about how awful the team was last Sunday, but it was there was a positivity about him that is just.
The thing about Mac too is he didn't sugarcoat it when it was bad, and it's been bad the last couple of years, no question. I mean, 3-14 and 3-14,
Mm-hmm.
number 1 pick and top 5 pick. But he was judicious about how he did it, and he had a tact about him about how it was. He didn't sugarcoat it, but he let you know, nope, this is not good. It's not acceptable. They have to do X, Y, and Z, and I just think about all of his players tonight and all of his friends and his coaching family. There's a lot of people that's going to be hurting tonight. I'm one of them, but those players, I've talked to so many of his players in the last 3-4 days. I was so glad to I'm trying to think of how can I raise his spirits a little bit, and the players that couldn't make it here that he coached in Arizona. And I mean, they were sending him video messages and voice messages. I was playing him by his bedside, and he would give me a thumbs up. And so many people will be hurting over this tonight, but a lot of people in this world are better for knowing Dave McGinness. I'm a better person
Amen.
for it. I promise you that.
Amen. Well, I mean, obviously surrounded by family and friends today.
Yep.
As he
Thank
passed
goodness.
away.
Yes.
At the age of 74. And at some point over the next 24 hours, I'm sure that we'll get some clarity on, services and whatnot. And I know a lot of people are very interested in honoring and showing their respects for Coach Mack.
Yeah, and at some point I'm sure there'll be a celebration of life service
That's
here.
right.
I'm sure they'll take his body and remains back to West Texas. But I feel certain that there'll be something here, and people will want to honor him and pay their respects and celebrate his life, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get over feeling sad, and I'm gonna celebrate him because he earned it. He
Amen.
didn't just deserve it. He earned it.
Well, like I
man
said,
gave so much to me. Phew, man, I got to.
Well, good for you, Rhett, and thank you for. I know you're in pain right now, and I deeply appreciate you spending a little time just reflecting on his life. And Coach Mack loved you. You don't need me to tell you that, but you need to hear it. And you know how much he appreciated you and his radio family, and you were chief among them.
I got lucky enough and blessed enough to hear it from his mouth.
Good for you. That's wonderful.
So, no regrets here. No regrets. I know I'll be looking at my phone to see if he's going to call, and I know that's not going to happen. I know that there's going to be a new building open next year, a new Nissan Stadium, and I wanted him so badly to go in there and do a game, and I know that's not going to happen. A very smart person told me recently that grief is the selfish part of it is, you're grieving because you don't have new memories to make with that person. But the grief also works through you in that you start thinking about all of the memories that you made. And that's what makes it come full circle.
I had it described to me this way one time, and I think about this when you lose loved ones. And for anybody that lost Coach Mack, maybe it offers you comfort. When you ever go to one of those silly gem mining places, and they give you the big old sifter, right?
I love that. Yeah.
And you got all the
all over Pigeon Forge,
and all the sand, and you eventually get all the sand, and you finally. Right now, there's an overwhelming amount of sadness, and that's the sand. And time has an interesting way of helping us sift that sand. And eventually the sadness and the pain of losing the ones that we love filters away, and you're left with those diamonds, those memories, those wonderful, wonderful experiences. And you don't know how long that's going to take. You don't know how much sand you're going to have to go through.
Yeah.
But I promise you, eventually you get to that place where the warm memories, the happy memories overwhelm the sadness. And I wish that for you at some point down the road, because I know it'll happen.
It's very kind of you to say, and I do appreciate that. It means a lot. And I'm ready to go make him proud when it's time to find out who the Titans take in 10 days at pick number 4 and 35 and 66 and 101 and all 9 throughout the day if they keep them.
I promise you from somewhere up above, he's going to be telling them who they ought to take and who they ought not to.
He probably is. That's a good point.
Listen, Rhett, thank you. Jackson, would you please say something goofy so that I don't bawl on the radio? You got anything?
I got nothing, brother.
Yeah.
It's hard to come up with words. Jackson is like the rest of us. He loved Coach Mack and got to spend time with him. And I'm just I feel like a rich person having a man in my life that was so giving. And there's a lot of times I would go, man, this is fun being able to just call my friend and talk to my friend and us work together and work on preparation for a game or the draft or whatever. And I'm like, man, there's so many people lying around the building to do that.
And I'm just reminded of, they say that the greats in their professions had this quality and ability. And Jackson probably has a similar experience. I had a similar experience. They said this about John Wooden, that he never met anyone that he wasn't willing to sit, look at, stare at, talk to, look them in the eye, and treat them like you said at the beginning, they're the most important person on planet Earth. And I watched Coach Mack do that with every producer on the other side of that building.
Absolutely.
Every intern, every person that was just interested in sports at all, he would stop and make it a point to speak to them like he would a head coach of a football team or a president of an organization or the owner of the Titans. Did not matter. And I know that you had that experience, Jackson.
Absolutely. I mean, doing Mac Talk with Rhett and Mac was some of the most fun I've had here.
Well, we're going to miss him. Passed away at the age of 74. Rhett, thank you for spending that time with us.
I'm going to leave you with this. And one of the reasons why he had this impact, and it's very fitting, and this is a good correlation, I think, because of where we are in Nashville, Tennessee. He was the football version of Dolly Parton. He was a treasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people you say, well, I just don't like Dolly Parton. I never cared for her. Whatever. I've never heard that in my whole life.
Doesn't happen.
Same thing applies to Dave McGinness.
That's true.
He was a football version of Dolly Parton in this town and really in the NFL. He was a treasure. And I'm ready to celebrate and honor his life.
Thank you for stopping by, Rhett.
Glad to do it, man.
There's Rhett Bryan with the Tennessee Titans Radio Network. And God bless you, Coach Dave McGinness, passed away at the age of 74 today. We'll be back. Hello, folks. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about Defend Systems. You know, Brink Fiddler understands it. He gets it, and he likes to remind you, and we've talked about it in the past, that, you know, we're not here to scare anybody. We're not here to concern you. We're not here to make you believe that, you know, tomorrow or the next day something awful is going to happen in your life, at your place of business, at your school, at your church. But the fact is that it does happen. And the fact is that hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained with Defend Systems, and it's what they do. They arm you with awareness. They arm you with knowledge, tools about emergency intruder action plans, rapid response medical training, workplace violence prevention, active shooter response, all developed and customized specifically for your staff and for your facility. Friends, I want you to reach out today at 615-236-6484, 236-6484. Brink Fiddler and Defend Systems. This training can literally save your life. And it takes a telephone call to initiate that process. 615-236-6484 or defendsystems.com. U.S. Pest is your one-stop shop for all things pest control in Middle Tennessee. Let's talk about it. I mean, because, friends, if you don't have U.S. Pest coming to your home in your life, then what are we even doing? I mean, they're simply the superior pest control company to all of the other guys, and you need to just talk to any of their satisfied customers to realize it. Talk to me, because I'll tell you that U.S. Pest is simply the best. Now, if you're already a U.S. Pest customer, you're thinking, well, Murphy, I've done my business. Well, what about referring a friend or a neighbor and receiving a $50 credit on your account or a free mosquito tick and flea treatment? Perfect time of year for doing that. I mean, the mosquitoes and the ticks and the fleas, they're coming if they're not already there, and it's time to get them under control on your property and in your home. Full-service pest control, termite protection, and crawl space service available at U.S. Pest with a 100% money-back guarantee on everything they do. J.K. and Erica Brister are the owners of U.S. Pest, and I love these guys. They're good people, and they run a tight ship and a great company. If you want to work for U.S. Pest, why not give them a call? They're always looking for qualified individuals, and they'll train you up to work for the best for U.S. Pest. If you need service, uspest.com or call 590-1260, 590-1260 for U.S. Pest. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to tell you that if you're living in pain, there is a way to avoid the pain that you're experiencing without having to pop pills, without having to take pain blockers like spinal blocks, and without the consideration for surgery. Now, Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley and the rest of the team at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they understand better than me that sometimes surgery is necessary, but it should always be a last option. Dr. Mitchell talks about this all the time, that there are ways to alleviate that pain, modern techniques like spinal decompression that work, and 47% off during 2026 spinal decompression. There are new advancements in that technology, too, like the HydroWave technology. The reason that Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley get this in here as quickly as possible is because they believe in it, and they understand that these techniques can help alleviate the pain for you and make you feel better, more like you again. That's what it's all about. Get pain-free with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They have an incredible array of modern techniques that can help. And all it takes is a call or a visit to the website, painisbad.com, painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or painisbad.com for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. By the way, Ninkumpoops in the news came down between myself and Weaver. Ken, I think Ken squeaked it out there, Jackson, by my count. 38 minutes after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I promised I would get back to Mike. Jackson and I will talk in a moment about his experience with Coach Dave McGinness, who lost a battle with an illness. He was in the hospital for about a month or so. And he passed away today, this afternoon, at the age of 74. He had his family with him. He had his Titans radio family with him. And all day tomorrow, it's my understanding, on our brother station, 104.5 The Zone, they're going to have a celebration of the life of Coach Dave McGinness, the longtime color commentator. The Tennessee Titans gave his life to the National Football League and to football, generally speaking. And we're going to talk a little more about him. But I want to be respectful of Mike's time. Mike, I thank you for being able to pause through that, because we lost a kind of a family member up here at the radio station. So I appreciate your patience, and I'm going to give you back the floor. We were talking about the Pope and the Iranian conflict and Donald Trump and some of his decision-making, Mike, and I was appreciating the conversation, so I didn't want to rush you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm still here. The coach that you was talking about, if he was a part of that Chicago Bear 1985 team, I I consider that probably the best defense in the history of the NFL. They went on. Well, no, I think they lost one game that year, and I think the only reason they lost that is because they took out the starters. But that defense is probably one of the best defensive teams in the history of the NFL. They destroyed quarterbacks all year long, and I think he was a defensive coordinator, so he was definitely a hell of a coach. Respects to his family and everything.
Amen.
I don't mind being on hold, for somebody, that was a successful coach like that in the NFL. But let me get back to this Iran deal. Okay, now I discussed with you. Okay, me personally, I think that the United States has achieved their goals. Iran does not pose a nuclear threat at this point. Maybe in the future, it's going to take them years to develop this nuclear program. If from what I've seen and heard, if what Trump is saying is true, I still would like to find out where this nuclear material is that they use upgrade to make the bomb. I'd like to recover that before the United States leaves. But I don't want to see American boots on the ground. Now, here's my scenario, and this is what I want you to take a look at, because I respect you and I respect your opinion. Because see, I don't want this to turn into, because I'm a truck driver. I'm a company driver, but I'm not I don't have to pay for the fuel. But this is devastating the truck driving industry right now. As I travel around the Tennessee area and other parts of the South, we're creeping up on the $6 range now for diesel fuel. And it's now costing over $1,200 to $1,300 to fill up a tractor trailer truck. That's a lot of money for a company or owner operator to have to pull out of his pocket. The longer this war goes on, the more expensive. I've never seen these type of prices in my lifetime, and I'm sure you haven't either. Every time I pull up to a gas station now and I see $6 on the pump, it's like a shock to me. And the longer this war goes, unfortunately, it's going to get higher. That's the reason why I'm going to say what I'm about to say right now. I hope that maybe you'll agree and maybe you won't. I think that the United States, like I said, accomplished their goal. I think it's time for Donald Trump to remove the military. I think that they should secure the state, get that in line, get it secure, get the mines out of there, and then turn it over to the people that rely on it. Donald Trump continues to say that we don't need this oil from Iran. If that's the case, then the United States doesn't need to be there. We need to get, like I said, secure the strait and then turn it over to the countries that depend on it, such as China and other countries that depend on this oil coming out of that strait. In the United States, Donald Trump needs to come back to the United States and focus on this country, because at this rate right now, we're going to lose the midterms and we're going to have a Democrat right back in the White House in 2028. And that's going to be and you already know what that means. That means the United States is officially finished. If a Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, or any other loser that they can come up with, Democrat, because these people, you already know what they want. They want open borders, and they basically telling you to your face they don't care for illegal votes. See, they don't mind letting the man in the country that's illegally vote neither. So they're going to destroy the rest of the country, what's left of it, if they get back in 28. So Donald Trump needs to get this operation over with as quickly as possible, and so we can get these fuel prices back down and get the American people, because I don't know if you know it or not, his rate, percentage rate, approval rate is real low, down in the 20s and 30s, if you can believe these polls. People are using that. The Democrats, y'all, I heard Hillary Clinton on the TV this morning. She's already using this against Donald Trump, saying that Donald Trump's promised that we weren't going to have no wars, nor that he was going to lower all the prices that Biden had got affiliated with. And now these Democrats are using that against Trump, especially with this war. And if it turns into a long-term deal, you can bet your last dollar Hillary Clinton and all the Democrats are going to use that against Trump. So here's like I said, I'd like to hear what you have to say about this, my scenario on ending this thing. Get the strait in order. Get the proper people in control of it, not Iran, because it was like Trump said, Iran is not going to be allowed to charge a toll for these ships to go through there. Get the proper people in control of the strait, and then Donald Trump needs to discontinue this war effort and start focusing on the United States, because if he doesn't, the United States is going to be lost to the Democrats in 2028. And I'd like to hear what you had to say about that, and I thank you for taking my call.
Mike, thank you for the call. I think you made a lot of sense. You're right. If we don't get oil and gas prices under control, and that impacts everything in the American economy, we cannot tout the American economy unless we get the war done. The only and I've said from the beginning that I did not see this path for great success that many saw, because I don't think the Iranians think the way that we do. I don't see this wholesale regime change happening. I do see this. Get the Strait back open, demand that the Iranians get out of the business of charging tolls and tariffs and whatnot, and get the uranium and get out. Get the uranium, get the Strait open, and get out as quickly as humanly possible. And you're laying down, I mean, it is a fact that if gasoline prices are over $4 a gallon in July, we're toast in November, we being the Republican Party. And I don't consider myself a Republican, but I vote Republican a hell of a lot. I mean, well, I'm going to vote Republican before I ever vote Democrat. I'll never vote Democrat again. I don't foresee it unless there's some sort of wholesale flip. So you're right. This has to be done, and it has to be done pretty quickly, because it is going to take a minute or two to repair the economic setback that has occurred as a result. It just is. And if you don't have that repaired by July, you're toast. You're just toast in November. Because the Democrats will lie, cheat, and steal and use it against you. Great call, Mike. I hope you make another one. I appreciate it. That's my take. I mean, I'm in agreement with you. And I never saw an avenue by which we replace the, I mean, if you want to say we killed the regime because they wouldn't do that, that's fine. If you want to say that we removed them by killing them because they sponsored terrorism, and all of that's true and all of that's well and good, I never saw an ability for us to get a quote-unquote more moderate leadership in Iran, and arming Iranians is not going to work, in my opinion. That's my take on that. Jim in the borough. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great, Jim. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I just want to say, in 1982 of 1980, I joined the Army. And active duty infantry for 3 years. I was there when Jimmy Carter was president, when I initially signed up, and Ronald Reagan, thank God, was president when I left. I became a hard-stop Republican because of those 3 years of active duty, because I saw the weakness of what the Democrats do to our military, which to me is our strength, which to me is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, you people seem to forget that Iran had a bunch, can't swear, a bunch of hostages.
Jim, who's you people?
Pardon me?
You said you people. Who's you people? Are you talking to me?
Everybody.
Oh.
Nobody seems to remember they had
my name's Matt. I'm not you. I mean, I don't talk. I talk to you, Jim. I don't talk to you people. I've not forgotten that the Iranians took hostages. I've not forgotten that they bombed United States Marines barracks. I've not forgotten any of those things.
So why are you being nice? I mean, to me, I'm sorry, but I'm going to infantry. You walk in and say, you're a next negotiator? Pull his head off. Okay, who's next? Oh, you're next? Pull his head off. All right, we just worked through the 4th and 5th echelon of their government. Let's go to the 6th echelon. You believe what they did? Yes, what? Very better.
How do you think all of this ends, Mike? Real quick, I gotta scoot in a second. How long do you think? How long do you think this goes, and how do you think it ends?
Within a year, we'd have within a month, we'd have knocked out in the U.S. Put our military through.
Gosh, Mike, I'm having a difficult time hearing you, and if I'm having a difficult time hearing you, I feel like everybody else is. Hello.
But what I'm saying is,
goodbye. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I can't hear you. Can you hear him? He wasn't making. I couldn't hear him. I'm sorry. Mike, try to call back. We'll try to do it another time. We've got Matt Murphy movie Mayhem coming up. Plus, I want to ask Jackson a few things about his experience with Coach Dave McGinness, who lost a health battle today at the age of 74. It's 49 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Savory Spice. I had someone the other day tell me, you know, Murph, on your suggestion, I was in downtown Franklin, and I swung into Savory Spice. And you know what? Before I know it, I had a basket full. Well, that's what happens at Savory Spice, because you don't only buy for yourself. You don't only restock the cupboards. Oh, look, there's some garlic salt. Oh, look, there's some lemon pepper. Oh, look, there's some pepper, spices, or salts, or whatever. Or, oh, there's some delicious taco seasoning. Whatever it might be. You don't just shop for yourself. You end up shopping for everybody because everybody's got a special flavor and a love of, a lot of us have a love of the kitchen, and you can find anything and everything that make your food better at Savory Spice, and they've got great gift-giving ideas as well. Holly and David and the rest of the crew at Savory Spice want to see you, and I want you to make the visit, the short drive down to Franklin, Tennessee, right there off the square. You'll smell it before you see it, the delicious aroma that is Savory Spice. You've heard me say it in the past. Say it with me now. You up your food game by upping your spice game. And you up your spice game at the one and only Savory Spice. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Craft Body Scan. Craft Body Scan wants to make sure that you have all of the knowledge you need to make important medical decisions about, well, your life, your family, your future. But at Craft Body Scan, they are offering their listeners a couple's heart and lung scan, which is a total value of over $2,500 for $99. It sounds hard to believe. It is hard to believe, but it is true. For $99, you'll get a couple's heart and lung scan for you and a loved one. It's fast, it's easy, and it can give you peace of mind or an early heads up before symptoms ever show up. I did this, and it gave me great peace of mind. I'm going to admit that I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac when it comes to, things that are going on in my body and my health. Well, if this is you, the scan is quick, it's non-invasive, and you walk out with real answers. Friends, the idea of knowing versus not knowing, it's very important. Craft Body Scan wants to help. So go go to togetherwescan.com and type in the promo code MATT50. That's MATT50, MATT50, or 615-436-1000. 615-436-1000. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Craft Body Scan, togetherwescan.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A few more moments on the Matt Murphy Radio Show this Monday. Sad news. Family member of Cumulus Nashville, Titans Radio Network, color commentator for many years, a voice heard on this radio station from time to time. We had Coach Mack on occasionally, but heard very, very often on 104.5 The Zone. Coach Dave McGinness passing away at the age of 74. I'll tell you what, we'll do the movie review tomorrow. I think that's probably better. But Jackson, how long did you work on he and Rhett had their Coach Talk show? What was it called? Coach Talk?
Mac Talk.
Mac Talk.
And I worked on that for the 2023 season and a few in 2024.
And I mean, Dave McGinness, to me, and you tell me what your experience was like. But he treated you like family. As soon as he knew you, he's going to treat you like he loves you, you know?
Yeah. The minute, when I started on Mac Talk, I'd only been here probably 6-8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so over that time, just getting to get to know Mac, I would show up, hour and a half before the show, just hang out with him and Rhett, and the stories he'd tell and the way he'd talk about football. It's something that I always remember and always cherish the time that we got to spend together. And another thing, the way he was able to connect with a listener over the phone,
mm-hmm.
it was incredible to watch every week. A lot of times we have repeat callers with, different questions, and he would remember, every caller. If you had called in before, Coach Mack would remember you. He may remember the question you asked the week before, and the interaction he had with the listeners was incredible, and just an incredible man all around.
Well, and I said it earlier, and I never talked ball with the man. I talked a little on the surface level because I don't have the knowledge to be able to talk to somebody like. But you probably said you listened to the man talk ball, and the depth of knowledge that he had, but more importantly, at least in my opinion, his ability to connect. You talk about the connection with the callers, the connection with the listeners of the Titans Radio Network. he just had this down-to-earth, down-home way of describing something. And this is a natural gift. When you're on radio and you can describe something and people are in their car or listening on their radios and they're able to see it, they can visualize it, it's just a natural gift that Coach Mack had.
It was incredible, man. And, I always, him and Rhett worked on their draft guide every year. And getting a sneak peek of that thing around this time every year was one thing I always look forward to, man.
Forgive me for not. Who's the on the call now? Who's the play-by-play now?
Taylor Zarzer.
Taylor Zarzer. Obviously that's got to be a shock to him, but you're also thinking about Mike Keith, who was with Coach for
7 years.
Golly, yeah, and Red actually mentioned that Mike had reached out to him while we were doing our interview. So obviously, you're going to hear a lot of tributes to Coach Mack, and rightly so, because he's one of the good ones, and will always be one of the great Tennessee Titans. And he will be sorely missed, passed away at the age of 74. That's going to wrap it up for us. We'll get back to politics tomorrow. We'll continue discussing where we are on the Iranian situation, the, quote, blockade ongoing. Plus, the General Assembly is attempting to wrap up their business in advance of some of the primaries that are set to get underway after they do so. We're going to talk some Tennessee politics tomorrow, and we will welcome a gubernatorial candidate into studio with us as Monty Fritz will join us in studio tomorrow on tomorrow's broadcast of the Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us today. For Ken Weaver, for Jackson Williams, and for the rest of the crew, we so appreciate you. It's Matt Murphy speaking and saying, hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.